at sundown. You would know where to be found. Sip my bottle, heading uptown. Ooh, long way home, the back roads. No hands on the handle. Blew the red light like a candle. The wind undid my hair like it knew you weren't there. Boys like you never play fair. Don't play fair. I'm on a midnight bike ride. Best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. How could you think we could just be friends again? I'm on a midnight bike ride. Best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. Now that you know things can never be the same. City has no secrets. I know all the shortcuts now. I'm lost looking for your touch. Used to be your night shift. Can't work out, I might just fly down here until the sun lifts. Found an empty street, sing myself a melody about how it used to be. Wind undid my hair like it knew you weren't there. Boys like you never play fair. I'm on a midnight bike ride. Best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. How could you think we could just be friends again? I'm on a midnight bike ride. Best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. Now that you know things can never be the same. I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm gone away. I'm gone, I'm gone, I'm gone away. The moon lights up my sundress, reminds me to forget. The moon lights up my sundress, shows what lies ahead, ahead. I'm on a midnight bike ride, best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. How could you think we could just be friends again? I'm on a midnight bike ride, best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. Now that you know things can never be the same. I'm on a midnight bike ride, best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. How could you think we could just be friends again? I'm on a midnight bike ride, best orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. Now that you know things can never be the same. Lights up my sundress, reminds me to forget. Lights up my sundress, shows what lies ahead, ahead. I can't get back on my feet. I fall right into you. In the air, an angel cries, oh, I awake your ruse. And all
Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We have a good one on our hands tonight, a jam-packed night of Overwatch, multiple matches for the Boise State Broncos here against multiple teams, including a former player who made a great appearance in a World Cup match, but we'll get to that later on in the night. But for now, we're going to kick things off with Boise State taking on Dominguez Hill in the NECC Overwatch tournament. Michael Fisher joined along by Nerdy Bird to call all of the great Overwatch action. Nerdy, how are you doing on a jam-packed Overwatch night?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm excited. A lot of Overwatch should be a lot of fun. A lot of different tournaments. We've got NECC, which, if you're unfamiliar, is not best of 3. It is 3 maps playing regardless. And then we have NACE later on in the night. So it's a lot of fun. Going to see a lot of different styles. And, of course, more Overwatch, the better. Take a look at the matchup here. Boise State taking on Dominguez Hills. Broncos versus the Toros going on here. So a couple of wild pasture animals going to be going out to see who dominates the grazing plains here. And it's going to be really interesting to see. This is NECC. So like I said, we'll play all 3 maps. So tilt control really, really important, because even if you lose the first 2 maps, you're not out of it. You can still get a point back on the last map. So it is going to be interesting to see if Boise State goes up 2-0 or Dominguez Hill goes up 2-0. If that team down 0-2 puts in a fight, makes it 1-2, and at least gets one of those points back. So we take a look at Doc's keys to the game. Win the first fight, stabilize and reset if needed, something the Broncos have definitely been improving on of late. Melt the same target, and then, of course, never take a fair fight. If it's a 6v5, it's a whole lot easier to win. It's all brought to you by Account. Thanks to their Identity Trust Global Network. Delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, enables a personalized customer user experience for all things online, fraud protection, chargeback, digital fees, anything like that. Check them out at count.com, KOUNT.com. I'll be curious to see. Boise State, we talked about it, Dirty Bird. Sometimes they haven't reset when they needed to, so we'll see if they want to follow Doc's keys to the game or if they're going to end up being in trouble at the end of the night.
Okay, so I definitely agree with we have a struggle with resetting, because you kind of just get so hyped and into the game itself that, your emotions are connected to what you're doing. So it's definitely a struggle for even myself. I apologize for my kitten in the background. Even myself, I can admit that I get tilted and I will stay tilted. But, when you reach this level of gaming, you have to learn to just let it go and leave it in the game, so to speak, and just reset and restart. So let's hope Boise State has definitely, focused on being able to do that and got their emotions down on lock, so to speak.
Yeah, and I mean, the mode that is the most important on is control. We've seen it time and time again where a team keeps running into a fight instead of just full resetting, and teams have gotten 20, 30, 40% on the point. So it is really key, as you mentioned, to try and just say, hey, we're down 2 members. Let's just back off. Let's wait for everyone to get back in. Let's just not bum rush the point. So it'll be curious to see how the game goes as we hop into what looks to be map number 1 between the Broncos and the Toros.
And it looks like our first map is actually going to be Lijiang, and I can definitely say with confidence that the Boise State team is going into this with a lot of preparation. They definitely have scrimmed this map basically every time that the team meets and plays against another school.
Like the Sombra coming out once again for Boise State. Definitely something they picked up on. Zero has it as well for Dominguez Hills, so EMP is going to be very, very clutch. As Boise State, you can see, pushing the early advantage. Hack is going to land on the Pleb. Going to shut down a ton of that healing, and you can see the Toros trying to run him down. He will be able to survive, and Boise State immediately picks up the first elimination as well as the kill onto the mech. Now they'll be able to get Bump Tickley as well. They'll be able to pick up Death Hunter. Boise State up 3, and you can just see pushing the Toros back. That's an easy one first fight for the Broncos.
Yeah, I will say, looking at the Toros comp, they have a slight disadvantage here, as Boise State is running with a Reaper and Rezo is, let's face it, a fantastic DPS player. It's just, when you're running a comp that has both Sombra and Tracer, the target focus has to be absolute and perfect because of the lack of damage output per second that comp produces. Whereas Boise State has a little bit more leeway, and they can get a target and really focus down on it and have a few more seconds to do the sustainability and just damage output.
See, no one really too close to the ultimate. Hack is going to land onto Icy, and he is dropping extremely low. Not going to be able to retreat. Now he's able to survive. Coalescence from Pleb going to be used to be able to keep him alive. E-Metal going to be the first one taken down. Death Blossom going to be used by Rizzo. Won't pick up more than hit markers, but he's going to get an elimination right before it onto Death Hunter. See Joey dropping very, very low as well. Bump Tickley forced out of the mech. Another elimination onto the Moira, and Boise State once again holding strong on the point. Going to pick up another fight there as Bump Tickley goes down.
Yeah, and I would just like to point out the fantastic job that Boise State just did staggering that diva. I know it seems like they're bullying her and toying with her, but it is a genuine strategy to just mess up those respawns.
A little bit about our opponent. Dominguez Hill believes esports is a strategy, not an outcome. Esports program centered in 4 domain areas, which are academic research, community engagement, competition, and entertainment. And of course, I like that last one. Video games always should be played for fun, for entertainment. So I like that Dominguez Hill putting that in. Right now, of course, Boise State probably enjoying themselves up 60-0. Here comes the full engage in from Death Hunter. A couple of ultimates available on the side of the Toros. There's Pulse Bomb. EMP going to land onto 6 members of Boise State. Soundbear going to be used as well by E-Metal. And right now, the Broncos Broncos only going to lose one. Now Beanie Bum will go down as well. Quibble will follow, and Boise State withstands every ultimate for the Toros, and of course that's going to be a one fight for Dominguez Hill.
That is a one fight for Dominguez Hill, but as you just mentioned, they popped 5 of their ultimates for that fight alone, and the only ult they have is a self-destruct, which in this current meta with how much speed the characters have, it's really nothing more than a zoning ult, and Boise State's coming in with an EMP and self-destruct. If they can catch the Toros out, this will be a perfect combo. Just like that, let's hope they're in a great position to do it, and we see a double kill come out, and that is just perfect.
Yeah, the 5-man EMP, the EMP bomb coming out for the Broncos side, picking up 2.5 members. Bum Tickley going down at the end. The point did go over to the Toros as they're trying to catch Apollos, hopping around, just trying to stop Boise State from capping. He will finally go down, and now Boise State get a cap here, and the Toros probably have one last fight. Never mind, they're going to jump right in. No reset like we've talked about as Death Hunter follows in. Now Joy Marie has to retreat. Boise State's going to get another one, and that might be a look at why we have Doc keys to the game. Of course, a reset is now Bum Tickley goes bum rushing in. And right now, these are just staggered spawns on the Toros side.
Yeah, if you look at it, that's an extra 10 seconds right there that they're going to have to sit out and wait for D.Va to get back into play, and that is 10%, and Boise State had 20% to go, so they've got to be perfect on this skin gauge when they only have 2 ultimates ready to go.
Back onto Bum Tickley, Coalescence, and Primal Rage going to go in off screen as there is Boise State. Now the Toros going to try and hop all the way onto the point because they have to. We are into overtime. Bum Tickley holding on to the ultimate. Got to use it very, very soon. Going to use it right as the mech goes down. Beanie Bum going to sound barrier. That's going to stop any elimination from coming out. There's the Death Blossom for Rizzo. He's going to pick up one. Primal Rage been popped by Death Hunter, but just to try and stay alive. Bum Tickley forced out of the mech. Quibble's going to pick up one onto Death Hunter. Apollo goes down, picks up a double kill with the Tracer Bomb. See if that's enough to turn it around. 3-man EMP is going to come out from 0, but he will pay for it with his life. And Boise State going to pick up point 1. And that is Doc's keys to the game in action. You mentioned it, Nerdy Bird. 10 extra seconds. Dominguez Hill had to wait because they didn't just go in for a full reset and sort of trickled in on the point for really no reason.
Yeah, honestly, it comes down to your shot caller needs to call that reset, and you need to be communicating when you are down 1 man, down 2, and down 3, and who is going down 2, because who goes down determines your win percent, the odds of you winning. You can't lose as the core player right out the gate. You can lose a main tank or you can lose the DPS, but as soon as you lose your Lucio or a Moira, you're in big trouble.
What's going on here in map number 2? Is that going to be a basket? Oh, off the rim. Rizzo denied. He's going to try one more. That one's going to hit the rim as well. Rizzo 0 for 2. We'll see if he can redeem himself as he hops into the game. He is on the Symmetra. We're also going to see Zero pick on one as well. So double teleport strat going to come in, and we'll see if either team wants to swap off depending on who loses the fight. Looks like Dominguez Hill can only have the teleporter first. So Boise State's going to be walking into a ton of sentry guns, and you can see Immortality Field immediately has to be boned by Pleb, and Apollo's going to take that one down. Boise State has to be very careful. They're going to concede control of the point for now, but there's still 7 seconds left before it is going to unlock. Death Hunter going to be dropping low. He's going to be sustained, and Pleb's going to be the first one taken down. Good job by Bum Tickley picking up that elimination. Apollo's going to get another one onto Quibble. Icy will fall down as well. Rezzo's going to join him, and that really came down to teleporter execution from Dominguez Hill. They were first, and they won that fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, we saw that little stutter come out from Rezzo when he first tried to place down that TP, and because of that extra just half second that gave the Tauruses just enough time to fully set up on point, now Boise State's going to have to completely swap over their comp. As you can see, now we're pulling out the Sombra and the Reaper and switching over to a Monkey because now you have to dive, and it's going to be a war of attrition.
See the NECC rules there. It is going to be all 3 maps tonight, no matter what the overall score is, and then no hero bans as we hop right into it. Rezzo's going to be dropping very low. He's going to be able to retreat and heal back up. There's a couple sentry turrets right on the other side of that wall. So see Quibble trying to take out the teleport. He's going to get that. Basically, got to be careful. Still got to take out those sentry guns. They're trying to drop people low. E-Metal's going to be hacked. He is going to be taken down by Icy, and Boise State wants to start the fight. There's a photon barrier going to come out. Joe Marie has gone down as well. Hack onto Death Hunter. That's a Ryan without a shield, and that is a dead Reinhardt as well. Boise State going to pick up all of the kills, and the Broncos going to take control.
Boise State might have control of the point, but really the only ults that are going to be coming online anytime soon are unfortunately Reaper ult and a Coalescence. If we're looking at the side of Dominguez Hill, they have their tank ult coming online, their Lucio Sound Barrier, as well as a Death Blossom. So here, Boise State really has to play smart, take the early fight, and force out those ultimates in situations where it's not going to be advantageous for the enemy.
Zero going to swap onto the Echo after the Symmetra has run its course. Bum Tickley and E-Metal both going to go down, both with their ultimates online. Pleb's going to use the Coalescence, and Boise State's going to pick up 4. Just like you mentioned, Nerdy Bird fight first, and they caught the Toros completely off guard.
That was beautiful. Not a single member of Boise State went down, but we are looking at a tough situation here as we have a Graviton Surge coming out from Dominguez Hill, and Beanie Bum is only sitting at 71% of his sound barrier, so if Boise State is going to survive that Graviton Surge, they better get Beanie to get his sound barrier before this next fight starts.
Nice chunk of damage onto Zero. A ton of ults online. There's the Shatter from Death Hunter, going to whip, and he immediately falls over. Rizzo's going to pop the Death Blossom. He's going to get 3. Apollo tries to answer back. Unfortunately, he picks up a lowly 1. Quibble going to use the self-destruct and going to be able to pick up a kill. Good job by him. So Boise State withstands a couple ultimates, but there's still 2 more left that they've got to deal with.
They have 2 more left, but now Beanie Bum is just 18% away from getting his ultimate. He can easily get that amount of charge from doing a little bit of damage and a little bit of healing output before the full engage happens here. But if you're going to drop an EMP, that Graviton Surge ain't going to come out anyway.
Yeah, 5-man EMP once again going to allow Boise State to win another fight, and you can still see the Grav and the sound barrier have been on cooldown for 3, or have been up for 3 fights for the Toros, and now they're on the last one.
I will rebuild you.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes it's hanging on and being a little too not trigger happy can play into your disadvantage. You have to be willing to push forward and hit Q first in a lot of these cases, but Boise State is just being so aggressive right now. They are not allowing Dominguez to hit their Qs first.
Sound barrier going to come down from Beanie Bum, going to be used to counteract the grab. E-Metal's going to use him as well, and Death Hunter's going to be the first one eliminated. Now Boise State's got to go back to the point simply because they hit 99%, and you can see the members of the Dominguez Hill trying to contest to keep us out of overtime. Unfortunately, they are bleeding body counts all over the place right now. Bum Tickly's gone down. Joy Marie's going to fall as well. Nice self-destruct from Zero there using the ultimate. Going to be able to pick up 1 onto Icy. Boise State immediately going to be able to get that one right back. Dominguez Hill has gotten control of the point as they're now going to land a nice shatter as well as they're running in 1 by 1, but it's still working as they're holding onto the point just barely. Rayla once again has the EMP, going to use it on the only member on the point, Bum Tickly. Swaps coming out from the Toros, trying to go to more mobile heroes, but right now it's really not mattering. They are just padding the KD stats for Boise State, and now in overtime, they're going to see if Doomfist can make it. He just barely can. Zero makes it back to the point. Should buy Dominguez Hill a bit more time, potentially. Yes, once again, Bum Tickly this time going to be the one who gets onto the point, as well as Death Hunter with just mere seconds remaining. Once again, though, Boise State just padding the stats, picking up elimination after elimination. Rezno has gone down, but that's the only casualty Boise State has suffered in the last minute or so. And finally, the Broncos going to win that one, and they will win the first map.
That was a beautiful job from Boise State University during those last couple of percentage points for that map, because if you noticed, they prioritized winning their fight as opposed to immediately backing to point and preventing that capture. And honestly, one of the biggest things that we hear all the time from our strategic coach Shifty is win the fight first, then win the point.
Well, if you're interested in something other than Overwatch, we've got a Call of Duty tournament coming up October 10th, Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational, thanks to the Idaho Army National Guard. You want more information, go check them out. You can see their social media links down below. Got some great prizes as well. We've had a ton of Call of Duty events with them. Probably the last one for Modern Warfare 2019 with the new Black Ops Cold War coming out later this year. So it's going to be a ton of fun. A little bit different if you've been participating in our earlier events. This isn't going to be a gunfight. This is going to be a Warzone tournament. So a little bit different, but still a great way to potentially wrap up our partnership with the Idaho Army National Guard, at least when it comes to Modern Warfare 2019. Rocky Mountain Invitational, October 10th. You want more information, any social media for the Idaho Army National Guard, you can see it on the bottom of your screen there. Go check it out. It's a ton of fun. We've had a ton of people in these events. I'll be really curious to see if we have some familiar names, because it is an awesome event to have. But that's a couple days from now. Let's get back to Overwatch, where Boise State did a really, really good job. Almost turned it into a team deathmatch mode at the end there, just racking up kill after kill after kill on the point.
Attackers incoming.
Take a look at the matchup here. Boise State taking on Dominguez Hill. Broncos and Toros going at it in the NECC. So we will play all 3 maps, regardless of what happens here on map number 2. So the Broncos could come out with a clean 3-0 victory, which I think they've had quite a few of in this tournament. But I'll be curious to see how the Toros want to respond after Boise State did a great job on control.
Oh, this is going to be interesting, actually. You see the Toros are pulling out. Apollo is going to pulling out Ashe, and Apollo is on Ashe this time, and we saw him on Tracer. Obviously, was great with his pulse bomb placements, but that huge nerf that just came out on Ashe is kind of got me concerned that they are choosing to go with Ashe on this engage.
Have to see how the Toros handle that, if Apollo is still comfortable on something that has recently been nerfed. Right now, Rayla's taking a ton of damage, able to teleport away in on the backline, trying to build up that EMP charge. Finally, Zero going to pick him off, so now Boise State has to be in a 5v6. We'll see if the Toros want to push the advantage and take Boise State's key to the game and never take a fair fight. Death Hunter taking some damage, Rizzo dropping extremely low, but right now the Toros are all up on the point. Rizzo trying to do what he can in the front line, but unfortunately not able to land on the grenade on the anti-tracer. And Boise State's now going to lose a couple of members as Quibble and Beanie Bum going to fall. Pleb dropping extremely low, but you can see the Toros right now just controlling the point. There's Apollo picking up his first kill onto Pleb, and Boise State surrendered at least one tick. I'll be curious to see if the Broncos want to reset or just give up the payload and stop the push.
Well, Boise State kind of put themselves in a really sticky situation by not claiming that high ground before the countdown timer even finished to begin the start of the round, and by giving up high ground so easily, they got rid of all the advantage they had over this not very mobile comp that Dominguez currently is using.
Zero nearly going to go down. Going to be able to hop away from that one. Boise State has swapped off the Junkrat onto their own Tracer. So we can see how Rizzo does it, but they're going to have to go up against a Pulse Bomb and the Valkyrie online for the Toros, picking up a ton of ult charge and ult advantage, winning that first fight. Going to get a hack onto Death Hunter. No punish, unfortunately, for Boise State. Beanie Bum dropping incredibly low, and Apollo's going to pick up another kill. The Toros running it down right now. Pulse Bomb from Zero is going to come out, not going to pick up anyone. Hack onto Apollo, and Joy Marie is going to be the first one taken down. Quibble dropping extremely low, has to hop away. Boise State has lost Rizzo in the process, so it is going to be a 5v5, and they're just still trying to find a way. There they go. They're going to pick on to Zero, and now they've got to deal with the rest of the Toros. You can see that nice shield up in front. Rayla dropping incredibly low, almost has the EMP. Quibble, it does have the bomb available, and he's going to get a nice sleep dart going to come in from E-Metal, but it's not going to matter. He's going to be able to pick up Apollo. He's going to be forced out of the mech, but he's going to use his self-destruct right as it goes off. Nice Reinhardt shield going to stop anything from coming out. We did a nano onto Icy, who now activates the Primal Rage after the nano goes down, and a huge sleep from E-Metal, but it does not matter. Rizzo picks up 3. Icy gets another one, and Boise State gonna hang on despite the fantastic Ana play.
That Ana play might have been great, but the issue is that you've got so much spam potential coming out from the side of Dominguez Hill that they are easily waking up the Boise State teammates that are taking a quick little nap. And ultimately, if you aren't calling and priming those shots, they're not going to do your team any good unless you are actually shutting it on an ultimate ability, which in this case, that Ana sleep did not do.
I think Rizzo and Zero trying to find each other. Rizzo nearly wins that one. Meanwhile, I've got a hack going on the other side, and Bumtickly going to be the first one taken down. Now Rizzo is in on the back line. Sleep is going to land onto Icy as the teams will trade. Beanie Bum going down. Going to have a nice pulse bomb come out from Rizzo. Be able to pick up one as Bob's going to come into the map from Apollo. We'll see how Boise State wants to handle it. Elimination is going to come down from Rizzo. He is in on the back line. Zero's picked one up on the other side as the Tracer's just going at it, and it looks like overall going to be a one fight for the Toros.
Yeah, that'll be a one fight, but Boise State actually, if you can see, they kept the Toros far enough away that they did not get any sort of push on that payload during the process of that fight, and they're just now getting players on to push it. So a lost fight nonetheless, but they took off plenty of time, and they're re-engaging already on a 5v6.
Zero is taken down. Rizzo's unfortunately going to go down as well. Neither team going to have a Tracer. Nano is going to land this time. It's going to go onto Quibble. Graviton has come out from Bumtickly, and a sleep goes out, but a nice sound barrier coming out from Beanie Bum to stop any of the damage. Joy Marie has popped the Valkyrie. Shatter's going to land, but just hit Icy. But unfortunately for Boise State, that's not going to matter. They're going to lose 3 members. Quibble going to be forced out of the mech. He's probably going to join them in the grave, and that's a team kill for a brief moment there for the Toros.
Yeah, and as the Toros are going to be going into this re-engage, they have a great opportunity with Zero having his pulse bomb ready to go. He can easily run in, get a quick pick, and engage Boise State in a 5v6 fight by taking out one of the players on the side of Boise State. Apollo is also very close to his Deadeye for this next fight as well, where Boise State only has their tank ultimates online.
See how Boise State wants to handle it. Every time that Rezzo's gotten a pick, unfortunately, he's gone down in the process. So Boise State's got to be careful there. He goes down once again. No pick to speak of this time. So once again, Boise State going to be stuck in a 5v6. You see Rayla in on the backline. Unfortunately, no really close to the EMP. Still got about 30% to go. Death Hunter is going to go down. Nice hack onto Joy Marie to stop any potential healing coming out. Icy has popped the Primal Rage. He's going to jump in on the backline. He has been antied though. Rizzo's going to pick up another one. Quibble gets one with the self-destruct as well. Boise State doing a great job, but Apollo once again going to get at least one pick to neutralize what would have been a nice Boise State win. Red's going to go off onto E-Metal, and the Broncos going to have basically just neutralized for now.
Boise State is in a great position right here. As you can see, Diva is up on the high ground, and they are using that to their advantage, as there is no way for the Toros to get to the high ground right now without jumping in, and they have no mobility with their current comp.
Rayla trying to set up a big EMP. You can see from the outlines there's about a 5-man EMP just waiting there based on how the Toros comp is. He sees it. When is he going to strike? He's going to pick his opportunity right now. There it is. He's going to land it onto all 6. Coalescence going to come out as well. And there go the members of the Toros. 5. Can Boise State make it 6? No, they cannot, but that was what they needed with 2 minutes left still.
The Toros are just, unfortunately, they aren't spying, they aren't looking for the spy in their back line, and that spy is Rayla. All you have to do is spam around, and you can easily find where a Sombra is hiding. However, their only sort of spam here they have going on for them is Zero, and Zero's going to be too busy in the Boise State backline to be keeping an eye on the backline for the side of the Toros.
Deadeye going to come out from Rezo. We'll see if he's able to pick up anything. No, he's not. A 3-man shatter is going to be the answer on the side of Dominguez Hill. Unfortunately, Death Hunter is going to go down. Grab has come out as well. A 1-man Deadeye pickup from Apollo, and the fight immediately flips. Nanos come out as well, and that's what I was worried about. Dominguez Hill had every ultimate, and they did not fear hitting that Q button 5 times.
Yeah, but once again, they've exhausted 5 ults, and their only support remaining is going to be that Mercy ultimate. Granted, yes, she can do a bunch of damage boosting, but that's not going to be enough to charge the ultimates on everyone on the side of the Toros, and they only have 1 minute left in this round.
Right now, though, they're doing a great job holding Boise State in the spawn. Rayla's the only one to get an elimination. Payload getting very, very close. The Broncos now have to jump on and try and defend. Coalescence and Sound Barrier going to be used just to try and sustain Boise State through all of the damage. And right now, Joy Marie's going to use the Valkyrie. Self-destruct comes out, but doesn't land onto anyone, just enough to zone away the Toros. But there's still over a minute left. He's going to trade back and forth, particularly for Beanie Bump. Ice is now going to go down. Apollo's going to hop the Deadeye. No surprise, he's not going to land it onto anyone. Boise State right now just trying to hold on, but you can see, much like the last map, just padding the stats for Dominguez Hill. Elimination after elimination. Finally, Rezo in on the backline, able to get just 1 before a great sleep, and Bump Tickley's able to take him down. Boise State, though, is bleeding as much time as they can. Nano's going to come out onto Death Hunter as the eliminations once again are piling up with the Broncos. Not being team wiped means that they're close enough where they can just sort of keep funneling, honestly, Death Spotter in at this point, but it's doing enough to stop the clock. There's the grab, but dropping it right on the payload means that it can't be pushed anywhere. Boise State not going to lose any members besides Quibble in the mech. Rezo in on the back line. He's going to be able to get an elimination onto Apollo. A nice EMP is going to come out from Raylo, picking up 2. And finally, Boise State's supreme stall strategy is starting to come together as the Broncos have pushed Dominguez Hill back, and they don't have a close enough respawn. You can see Zero in on the back line, now into overtime. You can see how close that payload is. All it needed was 1 clean fight from the Toros, but right now it doesn't look like they're going to get it. The teams are going to trade 1 for 1. Rezo's now going to pick up 0 as well. Coalescence is coming out from Pleb. Swap's coming out from Dominguez Hill, trying to get any speed as they go onto the Lucio to get back onto the point and keep overtime alive. There is the self-destruct, going to pick up 1, and overtime nearly falls. Looks like they're going to get another one onto E-Metal, and Boise State, what a hold there, 3 meters from the checkpoint.
Yeah, the Toros kind of wrote the end of their own story there, so to speak, when both of their tanks dropped double CC ults right on top of the payload within half a second of one another, when if they'd held on to one of them, they would have had a clean re-engage opportunity with the staggers onto the point. But they had no CC control ults to get into that fight and retake the point before time ran out.
Now, you have to say the one good thing for Dominguez Hill, if there's a time to misplay, it's that far in, because it's not going to be easy for Boise State. It's not a simple walk in the park. They've still got to get the payload, get all the way to the first checkpoint, and then get to the second one. So, at least for Dominguez Hill, you could say they made decent progress, but I think you're right. Wasting the grab and the shatter on point probably finished and sealed the deal, but we'll see if Boise State can basically cap this, because that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, they do basically have to push it all the way to the end. I know the score is 0-2, but it might as well be 0-3 when it's 3 meters from the end zone at that point. But Boise State is going kind of with their standard comp that they've pulled out the majority of this entire game series thus far, except for earlier there was an Ano, which was quite a questionable pick on the side of Boise State considering the comp that they were running. And we can see that the Toros are sticking with what they had earlier, but they're going away from having a shield tank and bringing in a Roadhog instead. Roadhog Zarya is a valuable comp that you can do, but it is very difficult to pull off if there's not enough communication.
Yeah, also going to drop the Tracer from the McCree on Zero. I thought Zero did a really good job sort of being that gnat in the Boise State backline, always annoying the Broncos. I'll be curious to see how he's going to be able to do on more of a stand there and just click heads here. Oh, you can already see Rayla trying to get in on the backline, build up that EMP, gets stunned out. Great elimination from Zero. This time he is going to be hunting that gnat. Nice hook going to land on the Quibble. He's going to be able to get away, though, unfortunately, from Death Hunter. Boise State right now they're going to make it even. As I was going to say, they were still down 1 as Rayla has now just respawned, but Zero has fallen. Death Hunter and Apollo dropping very, very low. Boise State going to pick up both DPS members from the Toros, and now we'll see if they're able to clean up with a lack of damage. Death Hunter being the next one to go down. Joy Marie will follow. E-Metal said, hey, I like that party, let's join in. And Bump Tickly the last one alive at Boise State with a great win despite being down 6v5.
Yeah, Boise State had a fantastic rotation, and plus they have a huge advantage over the Torres' comp because it's sheerly due to the amount of speed that Boise State has with the heroes that they've chosen in general, plus Beanie Bum on the Lucio, just makes them almost untouchable.
Death Blossom going to come out right in what was the spawn of the Toros. Rezo picks up a triple kill and 1. Boise State spawn camping knew as soon as they got the point, they could go right in there. And I don't know if the Toros were quite ready for that one.
I don't think they were, but at least the respawns will be all together after that short stagger on their side. And we are going to be re-engaging down 1, so we'll see if the Toros really truly take this advantage if Boise State just prevented them when they lost Rezo.
Yeah, Zero's done a great job getting a couple of picks on this McCree. Hasn't had too much value, but he has at least started to take 6v5. Icy now going to get found out thanks to the elevator, but he's easily able to retreat as Boise State waits for Rezo to get right back into the fight. Get him a couple of ultimates. He'll kick it off with Coalescence being used on Pleb. Zero's going to use the Deadeye. We'll see if he's able to pick up anyone. As the teams go back and forth. There it is, 2-man Deadeye going to come out from Zero. Finally getting some value from that ultimate. Quibble's going to answer right back, though. Get 1 from the self-destruct. Primal Rage going to be used by Icy. We are going to have the whole hog used by Death Hunter as well. That's going to force a somewhat disengage from Boise State. Zero picks up another one, and he's been playing out of his mind on this McCree until Quibble gets a kill, but it looks like Boise State opted for the reset.
Yeah, it's a soft reset though, as they did not lose everybody, and that's a faster re-engage. Smart move on their part, and great communication coming on their end to say, hey, we're down, we need to reset and do it now.
Great pick on the Death Hunter, maybe getting a little bit too greedy. Was trying to chase Rayla down. The EMP is online. Can Boise State start a fight in a 6v5 with no tank on the side of Dominguez Hill? EMP's going to land out, get onto 2, but Bump Tickly going down means there's no tank up for the Toros. Zero and Apollo going to follow. Joy Marie going to join in on the action, and so will E-Metal. Unofficial team kill for Boise State, and that should be enough to push the payload.
It should be, but if Dominguez decides to switch over to the, well, actually they do have their Lucio with almost 25% remaining to get a sound barrier. He can manage to get that if he does enough damage and enough healing, but they need to quickly get out here and touch this payload if they're going to contest at all.
Coalescence going to come out, Grab's going to come out as well, and a 2-man Diva Bond from Quibble is going to be enough for Boise State to capture the point, and now they have 4 minutes and 50 seconds to get all the way to that third point. Apollo going to go down as well, and now you can see the swaps coming out for Dominguez Hill.
Yeah, so now Boise State's going to have a very clear advantage by the fact that their ultimates, by default, are going to be slightly higher, but they do have that May ult coming online where we have no Lucio sound barrier to counter that. Boise State might just have to pray that Quidgeable is able to eat that, or that their speed boost is out quick enough that it doesn't affect them. And as I say that, they swap up the May and switch over to the Reaper, so now they only have their support ults for this next engage.
I guess deciding the Blizzard wasn't worth it. They did find Rayla, going to force her to hop away. Hack going to land onto Apollo. Beanie Bump dropping extremely low. E-Metal does have the sound barrier, but it does not matter when you are dead, as Rezo's going to pick up the first elimination. Can Boise State capitalize on the 6v5? We saw last time that with the close respawns, if you can't get a nice clean wipe, that allows the defending team to come in 1 by 1 and stagger you. Zero's going to pick up Rezo as Joy Marie's gone down. Quidgeable's going to pick up another one, and Pleb gets one as well. Sound barrier now coming out from E-Metal, only going to land onto the 3 remaining members, but we can see the Toros coming in staggering fashion, starting to bleed some of that clock, but they still got 3 minutes and 40 seconds to do so. Coalescence is going to come out from Joy Marie, but it's really not going to matter as Boise State is picking up elimination after elimination. Icy now trying to body block in the spawn. Meanwhile, EMP and the Death Blossom are going to be used. You can see how close Boise State is, and they're going to be able to do it. The Broncos cleanly won through that map. They're going to pick up their second victory of this match.
That was a clean round from Boise State. From that first engage, they had beautiful rotations. They were very fast to realize when it was a lost fight. They had great resets. I honestly could not have asked for a better play from Boise State.
It's Boise State versus Dominguez Hill in the NECC, which means despite the fact that Boise State won the first 2 maps, we are still going to play the 3rd map regardless. So take a look around the great but barren arena here at the Game Pants Center. Boise State hoping to get things back in. We've seen trickling of players here from time to time. Of course, you can see the shields up between each computer to make everything as safe as possible. But for right now, everyone is at home enjoying their own comfort on a Thursday night. And why not? It's working out for Boise State as we take a look at some of the highlights.
Yeah, this is that stall out that Boise State had on that last payload. And like you said, if you don't get that clean wipe, you're not going to get that push. But Boise State managed to do that nonetheless, even though I'm pretty sure that the Toros had some staggers almost hit almost come out of spawn right near the end of that round.
I think Icy might have done a good job body blocking. You could see it popped the Primal Rage and was basically camping the door. Don't know if he got anyone. This was just incredible. As soon as the payload was captured, that spawn door goes down, and Boise State just sort of copped Dominguez Hill napping. I don't know if the Toros thought that it wasn't close to capping. I don't know if they didn't know that that door went down, because that allowed a great start to the first push of the payload.
Yeah, that stagger that they created was just, it honestly makes such a huge difference. Those couple of seconds that are created in those staggers can ruin and may basically make it so you have one less fight, and winning one extra fight in any round will ultimately lead to your victory.
Yeah, when we talked about in Doc's Keys to the Game about managing the reset, and I think Boise State did a great job. We saw one soft reset, and it felt like there were a couple of times with Dominguez Hill where they didn't have that. As we take a look at those keys to the game, win the first fight, I think Boise State did that a majority of the time. Reset if needed. The Broncos have done that. They've definitely melted the same target, and then I will say, they have had a lot of fair or unfair fights that the Broncos were down 6v5 either to a pick on the Sombra and the backline, and Boise State won a majority of those. So Boise State may be going against Doc's Keys. They're taking unfair fights, but it's against them, and they're still having a good result, which is kind of wild. You usually don't see that in Overwatch.
Well, one of the great things about, well, not great, but advantages to losing such a quick hero such as Sombra or Doomfist or Tracer is that the re-engage time from when they die is a lot faster than that of a tank or a support player. And on top of that, when our DPS was in the backline and they went down, they obviously were doing some work, and they managed to get 1 or 2 players at least at half health, giving our opportunity for our tanks to dive in.
So great job by Boise State. We are, like we said, going to head on to the 3rd map regardless. That's how the NEC does things. So great job here for Dominguez Hill to potentially pick up one last point. And for right now, Boise State, they've gone with what they know. You can see the comp on the screen. They basically run that the whole time. Icy kind of messing around sometimes on the Rhine and the Monkey. And Dominguez Hill, you feel like they're not quite comfortable on what they want. We've seen a lot of unconventional heroes, a lot of things that you've mentioned, Nerdy, can work, but they are very skill dependent. And for the Toros, I don't know if it's worked out as well, so I'm kind of shocked that they're still sticking off meta here in map number 3.
Yeah, especially when we have Quidgible on that D.Va and they're going with Apollo on Pharah. I don't feel like that's a good idea. Quidgible has demonstrated that he is just an animal when it comes to his, not just his boost control, but his rocket control as well. And he's going to eliminate Apollo so quickly that Pharah is not going to do any good for the side of Dominguez Hill.
We do see them the pharmacy out from the side of the Toros. We'll see if they'll able to rain down some damage. As you can see, the members of Boise State all stacked up, taking some damage, but right now, nothing to worry. Some Broncos are able to stabilize their health bars. Death Hunter's going to be the first one taken down there by Quidgible, and Boise State off to a great start. Hack onto Icy. He's going to be able to survive. Shield is back online, and Boise State forcing the Toros back into their own spawn. And now they're able to get an elimination, though. Rezo a little bit overconfident. He's going to fall. Nearly falling into the water is Rayla, able to teleport back up to safety, but right now Boise State down a member, going to concede some control of this payload. Apollo doing a really great job. Looks like Rezo has decided to swap over onto a hit scan character to make that Pharah's life a little bit more difficult. Hack going to go on to Death Hunter, but Icy's going to fall, and Boise State now starting to lose some members. Quidgible's mech just barely hanging on, quite able to get some healing and immediately use the Coalescence. You can see the critical health bars now going to turn it into doing some damage. Nearly drops Apollo very low. Does have the rocket barrage online, saving it for now. You also have the EMP. The AMP is going to come out onto Death Hunter. Almost nearly hacked. There's a 4-man EMP as well. And Boise State's still going to get the first elimination onto 0. I'm surprised that Apollo held onto the rocket barrage that long. Beanie Bump going to go down, but he'll trade his life for Bump Tickly. And Boise State doing a great job holding on. Rezo's going to get a great pick onto Apollo. Death Hunter is going to get one back onto Rayla, but you have to like how Boise State has been playing this fight. Joey Marie going to get stunned. Nice job there by Rizzo before he goes down, and Boise State survives a huge EMP to win that fight.
Yeah, and I would just like to point out here that Boise State, that the target focus that just took place was incredible. They completely ignored this Winston that is Tesla canning them just to take out the supports, and that is so huge and so important for every Overwatch player to know when you need to be prioritizing who, and everybody has the bad habit of just shooting the largest thing in the room.
EMP bomb gonna come out for Boise State, and it's gonna pick up 2. Nice combination there by the Broncos. They will have to trade Rayla's life for it, but I think the Boise State Broncos will be totally okay with that one. Death Hunter trying to hop onto the point. He's gonna go down, and nice job by Boise State.
Boise State, going into this next fight, has 4 ultimates coming online, all of which can be fight flipping. We have a sound barrier coming in that can counteract the graviton surge that's going to be coming out from the side of the Torres. Also, Pleb, we have seen him be very, very greedy with his ultimate. He's bound to get at least 1 kill during this next fight.
Also going to try and use the Deadeye. He'll pick up both parts of the pharmacy comp over on that side bridge. Now he gets slept, but too little, too late for E-Metal there. Zero's now going to be able to pick up one onto Rezo while he was swept, but meanwhile, Boise State right on the payload. Going to pick up 2 more. Zero's going to get another one in on the back line, getting closer and closer to that EMP. But what a spot for Rezo to hide, and he's able to pick up 2 with that Deadeye. Boise State now going to be able to pick up 0, but in that last fight, or potentially last 2 fights, EMP grab going to be up for the Toros.
Yeah, but if history is right, the Toros have a bad habit of popping more than necessary amounts of ults during a fight, as we hear Apollo popping his ultimate and not picking up anybody, while we are still sitting on Beanie Bump's ult. So if they pop that many ults all at once, we have the opportunity to re-engage cleanly.
Yeah, Beanie Bump did a great job getting the sound barrier out before the EMP landed, even hitting 5 members. It did not matter. Boise State's going to cleanly win that one. And now Dominguez Hill in last fight, and I think they probably sat on that fire way too long, hoping the Rocket Barrage would give value.
Yeah, once Boise State had made the swap over to the hit scan, they honestly needed to see, had hit that tag key, noticed the swap, gone back to spawn, switched off to Fara, and became something that's a little bit more viable into the comp that Boise State's currently running.
Overtime gonna come out. Broncos need to win just this last fight here for a great hold. Pulse Bomb gonna start it off. Not gonna pick up anything. We're gonna see Primal Rage from Death Hunter and a nice double anti onto the Boise State tanks. They've got to be very, very careful. They are able to survive. Now you can see Rayla trying to build to that EMP. Has got found out and is just able to go in. But he had the EMP, but a huge stun by Apollo is gonna shut him down and allow the payload to continue pushing. Still a long way to go for Dominguez Hill, and in overtime they can't afford to drop a single fight. Colette's gonna pick up a couple. Quidgeable gonna pick up 2 more, and Boise State now survives a quick shatter coming out, and Boise State doing a great job winning that one. And you have to think there was a moment there, Nerdy, where they landed a 3-man EMP to Dominguez Hill, and they just sort of sat on the Rocket Barrage and then sat on the Rocket Barrage for the next 2.5 minutes.
Well, the thing with that EMP is that Boise State, even when we got 3 men in it, they are very fast heroes, even without their utility abilities activated. And so by the fact that they are already playing spread out by the playstyle of the comp itself when they're not engaging, already put the Dominguez as a huge disadvantage. And then they also did not have that Lucio to allow for that speed onto a hacked hero, which completely just eliminates the purpose of having a Sombra.
Yeah, and it is interesting also. I mean, we saw it on the last map. Apollo nearly had the Mei ult swapped off at 95%, and then this time he had the Pharah ult for 2+ minutes and just kept holding it for what he thought was the perfect opportunity, and then he used it. And I don't even know if the Bronco health bars move, so it is kind of interesting. That's one of the docs pieces of the game we've seen in the past, where if a hero's not working, just swap off of it. Don't stay because you have the check mark. I think teams have made that mistake. We see it a lot of times with Symmetra. They're like, I have the photon barrier, I need to use it. It's like, no, if it's not working, swap off. And I think the Toros fell guilty of that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a bad habit that you have to learn to break when you're playing at this level of competitive play.
Have to see what Boise State wants to do. Looks like a Hanzo at least being hovered here. It doesn't look like for Dominguez Hill. Once again, going to go a little bit off meta. Apollo back on the Ashe. The Orisa now on the side of Bump, particularly with Death Hunter on the Roadhogs. We'll see if that works at all. Boise State does have Rayla. Going to sneak in on the back line, trying to build up that EMP. Great job by a couple members. Looks like that was Zero who was ready for that one. He knew exactly where, but the stealth's going to come out, make it a little bit harder, avoiding some bullets. Meanwhile, Rezo's going to pick up one onto Bump Tickly, and Rayla's now split the fight. That should allow Boise State to get in on the back line. Apollo has been hacked. Rayla going to teleport into the water. Didn't quite make the throw like he wanted. And Boise State really does not care, though. They're going to pick up a bunch of members. Rezo's going to have the ultimate already. And Boise State very, very close to already winning this map. As you can see, they're getting a bunch of eliminations. Dominguez Hill trying to get back onto the point. Quidgible is going to be forced out of the mech, but Zero is going to pay for that one with his life. And Boise State with a quick third map victory to round out things here in game number 1 of the night.
Well, unfortunately, Dominguez didn't take the strategy of producing as many fights as you possibly can, and they sat back way too far for the comp that they were running in the case of their win condition, which was yanking people off that bridge, and when they got distracted by Sombra and backed up, they lost their win condition for that entire round.
Boise State going to pick up the victory there, winning all 3 maps to kick things off, but we are not done. We're going to have another match coming up here in the NECC, and then we will wrap things up with at least one NACE match that's going on later tonight. So Boise State off to a great start. I think the Broncos played that really well. 2 dominating map victories, and then one very close one. But we talked about, if you want to say the checkpoint from Doc's keys to the game, I thought Boise State did a fantastic job, Nerdy Bird, of following those, making sure they're not going to get a talking to, and playing everything really correctly. And I know we've talked about the Diva bombs here as you're a former Diva player. I thought Boise State got a ton of value out of them when we used them, which is something we haven't seen recently on the stream for the Broncos.
Well, I will put this out there. Quidgible is not guilty of the Diva curse, and that is using your ultimate ability to remech very quickly, and instead he will rather die or will charge his mech instead of using a self-destruct to instantly remech, which is a huge utility for Diva, and a lot of people don't realize it. And the fact that they also were comboing it with the EMP, which is something I have not seen in multiple seasons, made me very happy because it's a very viable strategy. You just have to make sure you get the timing right.
Take a look at the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. It is going to go over to Rezo, another one of the DPS who definitely has benefited from the EMPs coming out from Rayla. Did a great job on the Reaper, did a great job on the Tracer as well. But I mean, really, once again, this could have gone to anyone on Boise State, but when you get a majority of the eliminations, that usually what does it. And he had by far my favorite play of the game, where he got the 4-man kill, just sort of walking into what once was the Dominguez Hill spot.
I just think at that point, they're like, okay, we've got a monkey, we've got a Diva in our face, and now there's a big blade in front of us too. We're just gonna not try.
So good job by Boise State here as we take a look at some of their plays in their 3-map victory over Dominguez Hill. And once again, I mean, these are just incredible one fights. I think this was even a 5v6. Rayla had gone down earlier, is able to make it back pretty quickly. As you can see, picks up a kill. But Boise State to pull the trigger even down 5v6. I think the Broncos really exploited Dominguez Hill maybe sitting back and being used to passive teams, because the Broncos were go for minute 1.
Yeah, it's honestly, if the Boise State continues to basically pick the location of the fight, pick the engage, and be the ones that are basically setting the tempo for the entire match, they're going to be a step ahead the entire time. And unfortunately, Dominguez just could not come up to bat and say that, you know, we're going to make the rhythm of this game, not you guys, and they stuck with too slow of a comp. Well,
big congratulations to Rezo as we see my favorite play of the night on his Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success. So big congratulations to Rezo on his Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Have to see if he can maybe pick up another one here as well for Boise State, as we do have multiple matches here tonight in the NECC, and then at least potentially one NACE match, maybe more depending on how time allows. But I'm really excited for Boise State. That's a great way to kick off the night. I thought they played extremely well. And there really wasn't too many things where you can maybe second-guess Boise State. So you have to say that's a ton of confidence going into the next game for Boise State that might allow them to maybe steamroll their next opponent.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was just so clean. I cannot see any, well, of course, our coach is going to be able to pick something out of it that can be improved. But just on the surface level, that was such clean gameplay coming from Boise State. That was incredible.
Take a look at our next match here. Boise State taking on Becker College. Be curious to see how the Broncos handle this one, if they're going to run back with this Sombra Reaper, which that is something that I don't want to say I personally challenged the Broncos to, but that is something that I really wanted to see after we had a recent tournament. Sombra basically kind of ran over Boise State. I love how the Broncos have been playing it. We'll see if they want to bring it out. But before we take on Becker College, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Overwatch action coming up after this.
It's about time.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
It's Esports Arena, continuing on with our second NEC matchup of the night. Boise State taking on the Becker College Hawks here. The Broncos already winning one earlier against Dominguez Hill. We'll see how the Broncos fare against Becker College. We are going to play all three maps if you are just joining us here, regardless of the score line, as that's how the NEC rules dictate here. And now we take a look at the Game Pants Esports Arena, all around it. Hoping very soon we can get everything back in store, have the cowbells ringing, people enjoying the comfy beanbags and all the sort. But at the same time, you can see taking everything very seriously. The shields up in between each computer when we have had some students in the building, but that's not the case tonight. Everybody playing from home. I am Michael Fisher, going to be casting alongside Nerdy Bird here with the Broncos already off to a 1-0 start. Nerdy, and really a great start at that. Hard to nitpick anything the Broncos did wrong. Ton of stat padding as well on some of the maps, and a really excellent defensive hold that if you missed it, you're going to want to make sure you go back and check it out, because Boise State held for about a minute just filing bodies in as death fodder, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, honestly, it was super great, but I am so excited for this next match because we're going up against Becker, and Shifty, the strategic coach for Boise State, is actually the coach for Becker, and so this is going to be his opportunity to kind of see his two little baby teams go against each other. And honestly, that's how I'm going to put it. They're little baby teams. They're precious to everybody. But for him, it's going to be a great opportunity to see how both of his teams perform and how he's going to be able to improve both sides, as he has the capability to know what comps both teams run best and can exploit and improve both of them.
Yeah, it will be interesting actually to see how they handle that, as we see Becker College's varsity esports program, the first in New England, focused on building community through championship-driven teams. Great test for them taking on the Broncos tonight. And like I always love when we have these little stats, and it's this is a school in their first year, this is a school in their first semester, or even the first in a state. In the case of Becker College, it is always nice to see those little tidbits of how esports is growing. And it is going to be curious, as you mentioned, with a fact I didn't know with Shifty, because I mean, Becker's probably going to know how to counter Boise State. I'll be curious how much he gave over to Boise State, because while he is the Broncos coach, he also coaches for them. So be curious to see.
Well, at least we can say that both of these teams do scrim against each other, so it's not like there's going to be any harsh rivalry, so to speak, but it is kind of going to be like, we have to make our coach proud, so who's going to do better?
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the line besides just winning in the NEC, trying to make your coach proud, as we are going to hop into it. Looks like this is going to be the the Boise State Blue Squad of Guac, Kel, Goblin, Plato, A Large Bagel, and Asu, as we kick things off here momentarily.
Yeah, and Boise State is sticking with one of the comps that we are very familiar with, and we have Goblin once again on fire with Plato going to be messing around the backline for Cursor. But they're going to have to be careful, because the Sombra is already hacking Boise State, and they just weren't ready for it.
And no Sombra for Boise State, so no mirroring EMP right now. The health bars just slightly favoring the side of Becker. Now Boise State's fully able to stabilize, but with the point unlocking, looks like Becker's going to be the first one on it. Makes it a little bit easier with the pharmacy sort of having to stand outside the window. Yuchi dropping very low, but no elimination to speak of for either team right now. Finally, Yuchi going to be able to pick up one onto Plato. We'll see how Boise State handles it. You can just see right now, Goblin putting some shots in. Point has gone over to the side of Becker College, and Nate's going to be able to take Kel out of the Met. Goblin gets his first elimination, though, onto Uncivil World. Spark picks up a large bagel, and it looks like Boise State has planned a minor retreat here to allow everyone to respawn. Hack lands on the Guac, but he should be able to get out to safety.
Thanks for the assist.
We were saying that no eliminations had occurred quite yet, and that was because Becker is doing a great job of staying out of the line of fire of this Farah, because the way that Boise State has to play this comp is Farah does the main damage and calls the targets she's throwing her rockets at, and then Boise State's tanks have to follow up on that.
Sanker gonna punch off Goblin off the edge. Probably ran out of fuel there. Spark's able to get another knock off the edge as well on Kel. So Boise State right now, a couple of environmental deaths going to be to their demise. Guac's going to hop right in, use the Primal Rage, and he's going to be able to pick up Spark as the Broncos with the quick re-engage here. See if they can hop onto the point. Nice rocket barrage there by Goblin, going to be able to pick up Cyberdoodle. And Boise State now going to get another elimination onto Uncivil World. Yuchi's going to fall down as well. And Boise State with a nice re-engage, but great job holding the point as the Becker College going to get up to almost 60%.
Yeah, they are doing a fantastic job, and they really, at that point, they knew they had to reset, and having one person throw themselves onto the point right before the timer ran out was perfect because it just got them 3 extra %, and that could be enough to win this fight.
Let's see here, the EMP is online. Boise State has a slight advantage with the pharmacy that they're not going to be on the ground as often. Going to make it a little bit harder to hit those 5 or 6 member EMPs that could really flip the fight. You can see the blue outline of Sacred in on the back line. He's looking for a target here. He's trying to get Boise State as grouped as possible, and there he is. He sees it. He's actually going to land it onto the Farah, comboed with the bomb. Going to be the one elimination before the sound barrier can come out. Boise State able to answer back there, get one onto Yuchi, but now Asu going down. Broncos sitting down. One Plato's going to use the pulse bomb to pick up Sparks. The team's trading back and forth 2 for 2. You can see Kel's mech dropping extremely low. Looks like he's going to use that one as a zone and to reset health. Barely getting back in before going down. Boise State now, nice pick onto Uncivil World, but unfortunately they have to trade once again onto Guac. Nate falls, and Boise State now with a slight advantage. They can pick up Cyberdoodle as well. Sacred tries to get one back. Is it going to be enough as Kel is forced out of the mech? Resurrection comes onto Guac, and Boise State with a nice fight win through the EMP.
Yeah, that was a beautiful fight. The sustain and the rotating in and out of point just to make sure that no one was actually going to drop to their death, so to speak, was great from BSU. Now, however, they are going to be relying heavily on Goblin's ultimate as well as Asu with his Valkyrie, and hopefully Guac will be able to get his ultimate up in time. Of course he's going to, because he's going to jump right into the back line of the enemy team and get his ult and then pop it.
Nice rocket barrage with the Broncos already sitting up. 2 Uncivil Word going to go down. Another knock off the edge. Broncos answer back with the environmental hazards, and now Becker's got one last chance.
Becker has one last chance, but they have 4 major ultimates for both zoning, point control, as well as CC from the Sombra. And if Boise State is not tracking ults well enough right now, that could spell their doom.
Primal Rage and Sound Barrier have come out. Pulse Bomb from Plato not going to land onto anything. EMP is going to land, but that one's just going to hit Plato. Boise State doing a great job staying spread out. Unfortunately, they have lost Kel. Cyberdude's gone down as well, so it is a 1-for-1. Boise State, if they win this fight, would pick up the first map. Goblin trying to pepper in as much damage as he can. You can see how close he is. Uncivil Word going to try and use the Death Blossom. Goes immediately down. Great job by Boise State. You can see a large bagel extremely close as well to the Sound Barrier. Boise State can pick up a couple more eliminations. Sacred trying to do what he can. He's not going to be able to get it, and Boise State with a nice recover gets 100% on the point unanswered, and they're going to pick up the first map.
They just had no answer for Goblin on that Farah, and since the last time we saw the BSU Blue team practice, Goblin has definitely been working on calling his ultimates when and where he's doing it so that he gets that backup from not only his Mercy, but as well from Kel using his defense matrix to keep him alive, so he's able to not only kill 2 people, but also stay alive in the process.
Yeah, and I was really shocked that Becker didn't go on to any sort of hit scan to deal with Goblin. They're just like, you know, he's not going to get any value, and he proved them wrong. So great job by him. Looks like we have at least one. There's the second Symmetra going to come out here. So it's going to be who can get the teleport fastest. We saw that already earlier today.
Yeah, this is really going to come down to who has the most practice and knows when they need to hit specific buttons, because if you hit them in the wrong spot, you're adding a second to the time it takes you to get to the point.
First teleporter going to come down from Becker. Looks like once again they are going to run the race to the point, but Boise State has Goblin just sitting there raining down shots. They're going to trade Guac for Nate, and right now with both the wrists down, limited shield, is Goblin going to be able to have free reign. You can see him just putting a ton of damage in. He's going to get Uncivil Word, and he's going to get another elimination onto Sacred. Cybernoodle and Yuchi have gone down as well, so that time those later teleport not working out as Boise State has a ton of damage, not even heading into those turrets, and Goblin does work.
Honestly, this is one of those dirty strategies that you rarely see Boise State come out with, but Goblin was very adamant about being able to play Bastion. I'm happy to be able to see him playing Bastion, and they're using the TP strat so he can get in and out of dangerous situations and get healed up quickly. So it's on Becker to get rid of that TP, otherwise Goblin's just going to be raining hellfire down from the skies.
You can also see Kel's given the little robot his own personal shield as well. That's going to make it extremely hard for the Hawks to be able to pick up that elimination, as he is just sitting there healing himself. He's got a pocket Mercy as well in on the backline, and you can just see Icewall's going to come up, trying to stop some of his damage. Now he's going to hop in on the point, and Boise State's doing a great job. Photon Barrier going to come out from Plato. Tank Form going to be dropped as well. No ult besides the shatter from Spark. He's holding on to it for now. First elimination is going to go on to Sparks. He's not going to be able to use that ultimate. 3 more going to go over to the Broncos side. Let's make it 4. And right now that Bastion a thorn in Becker's side.
Oh, for sure. And with the way that Goblin is setting up, there is not going to be a very clean opportunity to get a huge shatter coming out from the side of Spark. So it's going to be very important that his team follows up on the heroes that do get stunned. However, Boise State has the ability to use their immortality field coming out from a large bagel if it's needed to save any of the players during this next fight.
See, once again, Goblin just getting free reign in terms of total damage. Now he's going to hop down. He gets the window right in front of him, and that is 3 kills for the robot. Bastion gets 3. Goblin says, hey, let's make it 4. And Boise State right now absolutely dominating. Becker's got 1 fight to figure everything out.
Becker has 1 fight in this coming, well, yeah, I don't even know if they're going to get 1 full fair fight in this next fight. They're going to have their Sombra or their Lucio at least touch point to engage that overtime, and hopefully they can pop the May ult and get an opportunity to really regain control at this point.
Goblin gonna get knocked off his little window. Can they make him pay for it right now? It says no, but a 6-man EMP might change everything. LOL JK, Boise State's gonna be able to get 3. The Broncos make it 4. Can they make it 5? Yes, they can. Sacred trying to do what he can to keep us in overtime. It's not gonna matter. Boise State wins map number 1.
In the words of Indigo Lily, that's so disgusting, and I like it. That is a great way to put it, because Bastion strats are disgusting, but Boise State is notorious for using them in the strangest of situations, let's be honest.
And I mean, the micro play that really stood out to me was Goblin perfectly handling the turrets. He'd go up and on the window, as soon as he lost his vantage point, boom, he was right, or the teleporter, I mean, boom, he was right back down on the other teleporter. So Becker had nowhere to look, because you go, all right, we're going to hop in. We know Bastion's up to the left. Everyone look left, and then you just see Bastion just raining down bullets. And a great job by Boise State to pick up the first map. Well, if you're interested in wrapping up the 2019 Modern Warfare season, we've got it for you, the Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational, October 10th. We've got some awesome prizes. Of course, working with the Idaho Army National Guard. Once again, they put on some spectacular events in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and this, I'm sure, is going to be another one. Slight change-up if you participated in the past. This one is going to be a Warzone tournament, so a little bit different, but still going to be a ton of fun. October 10th. You want more information, you can see the social media for the Idaho Army National Guard on your screen. Hit them up on any of your choosing, but these events are awesome. They're a ton of fun. I've heard the prizes are super awesome as well, so what a way to end the Modern Warfare 2019 season than with a nice Warzone tournament coming up here in about a week.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it and won't be too swamped with homework, so fingers crossed.
Well, right now, Boise State, if they've got some homework, they're definitely trying to wrap things up quickly here. Even playing all 3 maps, they dominated on control, only needing the first 2 rounds. And I'm still just blown away about this sneaky Bastion that I've never seen Goblin play. You said he was adamant he can play it. I think he can prove if he ever wants to pull it out, you cannot tell him no, because he carried Boise State on the 2nd round of control.
Well, I mean, Torbjorn's got a turret, and we know that Goblin is like the Torbjorn god in all respects. Like, he is an incredible Torbjorn player, so maybe he just becomes the turret when he plays Bastion, so to speak.
This time, unfortunately, Boise State's going to go a little bit more back to the meta. You can see once again the Sombra coming out as well as Plato on the Reaper. Going to be answered there. Looks like a full mirror, just a Rhine for a monkey. So Guac's got to see how he can handle being hacked and if he can keep that shield up as Boise State. They're going to try and jump right in onto the high ground there. Right now, a lot of damage being taken from either side. There is a Sombra on the back line. Going to take a couple of swings of the hammer, and a large bagel's going to finish things off. So Boise State going to sit up 1. You can see Nate dropping extremely low. He has been stunned. Now he's forced out of the mech, and Boise State doing a really good job. Not able to pick up the Baby Diva right now, but still dominating on this first point. You can see Uncivil Word. He's going to go down as well. There's one onto Nate. Finally, Yuchi falls. Smart falls as well. Boise State with the unofficial team kill, and that should be an easy cap.
There's nothing I can say that was wrong with that engage from the side of Boise State. Becker gave up that high ground without even a second thought. They literally jumped down, and you just can't do that. You need to stand your ground a little bit, my friends.
And Sacred also got sort of hard caught on the Sombra there. Took 2 swings of the hammer, and then a large bagel got the pick. So Boise State doing a great job. This time, though, Cyberdoodle's going to be able to get Goblin. So now we'll see how the Broncos can respond. It looks like they are just going to fall back, though.
Yeah, and that's an okay strategy coming from the Broncos because they do have a little bit more limited mobility during this engage. But that's a massive shadow that we have coming out right now on the side of the block. Absolutely huge. And the fact that Becker once again just jumps off the high ground and just ducks in a row right in front of the block right there for that shatter to be great.
Yeah, I was, you saw Plato, we had the camera on him. I was like, okay, when's he going to Death Blossom? When's he going to Death Blossom? He's like, no, I don't need the Death Blossom when Guac hits a nice 3-man shatter. So huge props to Boise State, but Sacred now has the EMP. Not a high ground comp for Boise State. You can see they're doing a great job spreading out. So we'll see how much value Sacred can get with the ultimate on the side of Becker. Cyberdoodle has his coalescence as well, but let's be honest, that's up almost all the time. It's basically just about a 10-second cooldown. And there it is. There's 3-man EMP. Plato immediately eliminated off the map. Gonna add a nice hack onto Cyberdoodle to prevent them pairing it with the coalescence, but for Boise State, they are gonna lose their second DPS as well as Goblin goes down, and the Broncos probably gonna disengage. You can see they're getting run down, trying to fall back into their spot. We're gonna have Guac go down as well. Asu will fall, and Boise State's gotta smartly disengage here and try and get a reset because they have the EMP Blossom online. They just gotta wait for everyone else.
I'm really hoping that we see Guac swap off of the Reinhardt here soon and go to the Monkey because he is an animal and a beast when he is playing Winston, and into this comp I feel like they just need that little bit extra boost of mobility.
Coalescence going to be used, but a nice 4-man EMP going to come out. Unfortunately, Plato got hacked, so he could not pair it with the Death Blossom. Both teams going to lose a couple of members. The Broncos lose 3, Becker's going to lose 2. And Boise State, you saw the combo, but you have to give a shout out to Sacred. The huge hack probably stopped what would have been a team kill for Boise State.
Oh, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that was a great play coming out from Becker's Sombra right there. And Becker is going to be re-engaging on this next fight with both of their ultimates, so a large bagel is, well, both their DPS, so a large bagel is going to have to be hiding it somewhere and praying that the Sombra does not hack him first before she uses her EMP so that he can save the team with his sound barrier.
Hack gonna land on the nade from the side of Boise State. Ace are gonna use the coalescence. Sound barrier gonna be used by Yuchi. Plato gonna be taken down once again, and a 3-man EMP is going to come out. The sound barrier did go down. Only looked like it hit Asu as Guac falls as well. You can see Kel trying to get away. The Broncos trying to reset. They're gonna lose Asu as well. A large bagel gonna get hacked. That will spell his demise in Boise State. Now they've got to reset. They've got 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. They're, I want to say, from the archway to where they are now, they're about halfway to point B. So 2 minutes is plenty of time. That's about 3.5 fights. Plus, they already have the Diva Self-Destruct ready to go, as well as almost another EMP. And Plato, of course, has his Death Blossom. Let's just wait for what huge play he might be able to make.
Yeah, and you have to give huge props to Sacred. 2 fights in a row, hacking Plato, shutting down any sort of Death Blossom answer for Boise State. We'll see if Plato can get it off here to start the fight. Right now, Uncivil Word dropping low. He has the Death Blossom as well. We'll see which Reaper wants to hit Q first. Right now, the team's just going back and forth. Goblin dropping low. Kel's going to throw the Self-Destruct in on the back line, not able to get anyone. And Spark can use the Primal Rage to pick up Goblin. Once again, a huge hack onto Plato means that Boise State is still not able to get any value out of that Death Blossom. Coalescence used by Cyberdoodle, not really for much reason as Guac goes down as well. Boise State once again going to reset.
Boise State really needs to start focusing a little bit more on Sombra. As we've seen before, the blue squad has had basically the Sombra of the enemy team has been the undoing of the blue squad more than once, and it's because they are not doing enough time with their scouting and making sure they're spamming all of the entryways to find Sombra before she makes it to their backline, and she's just getting too much value.
Yeah, she had a 2-man EMP there, picked up both members. Goblin now going down, and Boise State starting to run out of time. Once again, the EMP Death Blossom is online, but Plato has now been killed 3 times with just the inability to hit any button because Sacred has been targeting the attack so extremely well. Guac has swapped over to the Monkey. We'll see if that makes a difference. EMP is going to land onto 6 members. There's the Death Blossom we've been waiting for. It's going to get 4 members of Becker, and Boise State wins the fight when they needed it most.
That was beautiful. Thank goodness we got to see Goblin actually be able to play a little bit. Hopefully he takes this couple of seconds between this next fight to start scouting for that Sombra, as does Hell, because that is one of the quintessential things to countering this comp coming out from Becker.
30 seconds.
Looks like Boise State's probably going to have to win one more fight here if they're going to want to get to the second checkpoint. Coalescence is going to be used by Asu and Cyberdoodle. As we're going to see, Uncivil Word is going to go down. That's going to stop any death blossom coming out. Nate's going to use the Diva Bomb. Not going to be able to pick up anything. So Boise State just zoned off the point, but they're able to get right back on top of it. Kel's going to take down Spark. And Boise State, riding high from that last fight, picks up another victory. And they're going to get a time extension as they're going to get the second point.
Yeah, and our Sombra is already got 74 on another EMP. She just basically, both tanks on the side of Becker were just massive ult batteries for her because no one was turning around and taking care of Goblin. Just like Boise State's guilty of not taking care of Sacred, I guess no team is really prepared to take on a Sombra right now.
And see Sacred just slightly ahead of Goblin in terms of EMP percentage. His is going to be up. Goblin lagging about 15% behind. Plato also about 30% behind on the Death Blossom. So Boise State might have to absorb a fight here first to try and get as many ults out of the way, or at least stall for their two DPS ults to come up online. Both sound barriers are online as well, as we're going to wait for who wants to strike first here. Sacred has just a few more opportunities. Well, he's the only one with the EMP, and there it is. He's going to use it the last possible second. A four-man hack, but a large bagel doing a great job dropping the sound barrier to keep Boise State just barely alive. Primarily from Glock going to pick up Uncivil Word. Cyberdoodle going to go down as well, and Boise State survives the EMP and continues pushing with 30 seconds left.
We saw Kel actually spamming every flat surface he could possibly see on his screen to try and find that Sombra, and he did get her decloaked a couple of times. So he's realizing how important it is to really be spamming, and hopefully he does it soon, because if they're not focused on the right targets in this next fight, it could be their doom. It is the last one.
Nice pick by Sacred on the Goblin with the EMP online. Sound barrier going to be used by Yuchi to stop out the Death Blossom for Plato. Coalescence is going to be used by both Cyberdoodle and Asu. As now we enter into overtime. Death Blossom from Uncivil Word's going to pick up one. Boise State, there it is. The EMP is going to land onto 4. Bomb's going to come out as well. Pick up 3 for Boise State. That flipped the fight so hard it would look like a Bronco loss, or at least a Bronco failure to cap in overtime, but the Diva Bomb, thanks to the EMP, wins the map for Boise State at overtime, or at least sets 3 points that Becker's got to get.
Oh my goodness, that made my heart happy. I've been waiting for the blue squad to pull out the EMP bomb combo, and that was so perfect. Kel, that was a great bomb. Hats off to both Kel and Goblin. Yes, Goblin was on our Sombra, yes. And I know that Goblin's not super comfy on Sombra, well, at least previously, and so he's been forcing himself to play her a lot more, and it's definitely paying off.
Yeah, and almost Sacred was the MVP of Becker. He got a huge pick on the Goblin when you knew he was waiting for the EMP, but as you mentioned, those mobile DPS can get into a fight a lot quicker, and Goblin was able to make it back just in the nick of time, because it looked like Boise State was going to lose in overtime. But now the Broncos have set the pace, we'll see how Becker College wants to do, because it looks like for the Hawks, they're running it back. Boise State getting a little bit unconventional, at least for now.
For now, but I mean, we've seen Plato on the Ash. Yes, he's nerfed. Even Plato brought it up that he is nerfed and he's broken, and I don't want to play her as much anymore. But we have Goblin on that Pharah, and he is just an animal, and he is great at landing those rockets. So as long as the Boise State stays vocal during this engage coming from Becker, there's a very good opportunity for Boise State to have a full hold here.
Yeah, last time Goblin played the Pharah, the one thing that also went in his favor as we get the flyover before the map starts is there was no hit scan swap that ever came out from Becker. So I'll be really curious if at some point either Uncivil Word or Sacred are going to say, hey, there's a Pharah, we probably need to get him a free or something to shut down Goblin.
Yeah, but there's always this the possibility that someone on Becker's side is not comfortable with a hit scan, in which case they need to be giving their Diva as many opportunities as possible to be focusing on the Pharah and really pumping a lot of utility into their Diva to take care of the Pharah, or at least make Pharah's life very uncomfortable.
Kel trying to find Sacred on the Sombra. Boise State holding the high ground very, very well. You can see the health bars of Becker being dropped extremely low. Right now, no elimination to speak of as the Hawks have been able to infiltrate Boise State's high ground, at least push it back a little bit. Nice hack onto Goblin, going to force him to play ground fair, but it's not going to matter as Sacred's going to once again pay for it, and Boise State gets the first elimination of their defensive ult, and it looks like that should be enough to slow down Becker for now. You can see they're sort of waiting in that house, waiting for their Sombra to come back, and that's allowing Goblin to just pepper shots in. He's going to get another one onto Cyberdoodle. He has the Rocket Barrage online. When is he going to want to drop it? Looks like he's going to hold it as Yuchi goes down, and it looks like Becker College is going to reset.
Well, Becker College they just staggered themselves because they were waiting for their Sombra, whereas we saw previously Boise State will continue to push forward without Sombra because she has such a quick return time to the field of play that they could have engaged, waited, and still won that fight while their Sombra had a clean opportunity to wrap around the backside, quote-unquote, on respawn and mess with Boise State, but they lost that opportunity.
I will not waste this
Sacred was in there in the back line with a couple of supports from Boise State. No one from the Broncos able to find it. Goblin dropping extremely low. Cyber Duo going to use the Coalescence, and Goblin's going to be the first target focus, and he is going to be absolutely melted. Spark has been antsy, and there Boise State's finally able to pick up their only elimination as Plato, a large bagel, and Asu all will go down, and unfortunately for Boise State, probably losing that fire all meant a lost fight. As you can see, Kel going to be forced out of the mech. Baby Diva probably going to be sort of toyed with a little bit just to try and wait out the spawn. There he goes down. Glock's now going to jump in there. Goblin drops the rocket barrage, able to pick up 2 before paying for it with his life. A nice little 10-second stall, but payload still captured by Becker.
Yeah, but those couple extra seconds that Boise State had 2 players throw their bodies on point were 2 extra seconds that now Becker will not have to push that payload, and they do have to get all 3 points during this fight. Otherwise, there won't be an overtime, and unfortunately, the map will go to Boise State. So that time that Boise State just took off from Becker is important.
Yeah, and this is where Becker really had a great hold against the Broncos. We'll see how well the Broncos can hold defensively here. Nano's going to go out on the Guac. Kel trying to do what he can, just barely staying alive. Plato's going to get the first elimination. Sacred has been slept as well. Great job by a large bagel to stop him from being hacked. The EMP online. And Boise State with Bob in as well. Going to pick up their 4th elimination and drive Becker all the way back to spawn. Nice late pick onto NACE. We'll see if Boise State can make him pay. It looks like for now they're just going to make him try and get that mech back.
Well, honestly, leaving a Baby Diva to her own device is the best thing you can honestly do right now because she's kind of useless until she gets that mech back. So Becker has 2 options, and one of them is wait for her to full charge that mech, which is going to tick down their timer more, or just let her int, and neither one are really good right now.
He's up above 90%, so it looks like Becker has opted for the burn the clock, wait for the Diva mech to come back. There it is, back in the mech, and everything's good to go. You can see the EMP Blossom combo online for the Hawks, so the high ground going to be very, very important. EMP's only going to pick out 2 as Sacred immediately goes down. Not sure why he blew it so early. No combination on any other ultimate. Primal Rage has come out. There's the Dragon Strike going to come in from Goblin as Guac's going to take down Yuchi. AC using the Valkyrie as well. Cyber's trying to coalesce, keep people alive. Nate does get 1 back, but immediately it's canceled out with a nice res by Asu. Guac's going to use his own Primal Rage. He's going to pick up Cyberdoodle, and Boise State mirroring the great hold we saw earlier. And as Guac's able to get out, and Boise State with a nice win.
And now we're looking at just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the side of Becker to get this payload a lot further than what Boise State had to do in 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And Plato is taking out the Diva from the distance. Just more time off the clock at the side of Becker. They really need to start utilizing the map geometry and using natural cover, not just relying on tanks, because that's just going to charge Boise State's ults more in this case because there is no massive shield in front of anybody.
Bob back online. Nano up for Boise State as well. Death Blossom and Sound Barrier up for Becker, so we'll see if Uncivil Word's able to get a good Blossom, but you can see just from that picture how spread out Boise State is, really neutralizing how much value you could get from those big AoE ultimates. Uncivil Word is going to be able to take Kel out of the mech, so Boise State might have to worry about that for a little bit, as it does look like right now nothing else is going to come of it. Bob's now going to join the fight as Boise State wants to kick it off. Nano's going to go onto Guac. Sound Barrier from Yuchi is used, and Uncivil Word is able to pick up 1. Holding onto the Death Blossom still. Going to get another elimination. Nate gets 1 onto the Baby Diva, and it looks like now for Boise State they've got to be worried. Goblin gets 1 back, but Guac will fall as well. 4 kills picked up by Becker, make that 5. And it looks like Boise State's going to have to concede, but only a minute left, and there's still a ton of pushing on that payload.
So with a minute left, Boise State is not running the Lucios, so they really only are going to have 1 fight or 1 really long drawn-out fight with staggers in order to stop this payload here before it reaches the next point. But Boise State does have Guac with his ultimate, and that creates a lot of stall time.
Yuchi going to be the first one eliminated. Cyberdoodle goes down as well. A great job by Boise State, hopping right onto Becker. Sacred's going to fall down as well. Nate does get 1 back onto Goblin, but that's really the only elimination. Spark is going to use the Primal Rage, and he'll pick up 1 as well. But Boise State doing a great job hopping right on top of Becker, and now we're going to be in last fight territory.
Yeah, with under 45 seconds left, that's not even going to be an opportunity for a full fight to take place, especially when Boise State pushes forward and catches Becker before they have the opportunity to instigate overtime on that payload.
EMP Death Blossom is up for the side of Becker as well as the Nano. Boise State just sitting on a pair of tank ultimates, so the Broncos have got to be spread out. They've got to be very, very careful because a 6-man EMP into a Death Blossom is almost a fight loser. We're going to head into overtime here. Uncivil Word popped the Death Blossom early, and it didn't get up anyone. 4-man EMP comes out from Sacred. He'll go down. Cyberduo and Uncivil Word will follow. Spark trying to get on the payload. He goes down. Walk pops the Primal Rage. Kel gets one as well. Everybody for Boise State dropping in on the kill feed, and Boise State looks like they have an excellent hold. Nate trying to zone off with the Diva Bomb. He's going to be taken out of the mech. He's going to be eliminated. Can anyone from Becker make it to the point? No, they cannot. And Boise State picking up their second win of the series. Going to win map 2.
All right, so we've got one more map left, and as it stands now, Boise State is up 2, but keep in mind that does not mean that Becker is in or out of this tournament because points matter. So Becker still has an opportunity to at least get 1 point and walk away without a clean sweep on their slate from this game.
Yeah, and that was really a great victory from Boise State. I thought after how the capturing of the payload went, I was like, all right, Becker's probably going to maybe get there. We'll have a crazy last-second fight. But no, Boise State did a really good job. Once again, like we saw earlier, I think they sort of took advantage of teams just waiting for a more passive approach. We saw at the very end there, they hopped in and were able to say, hey, let's make a play. But as we look at that, that was the play of the game. Had to be, I don't care what Overwatch said, a huge EMP Diva Bomb. That is what allowed Boise State to get so far. It wouldn't have mattered in the grand scheme of things, but Boise State, that was really a tone setter going into the defensive effort.
Honestly, I really do wish there was like that little support thing to pop up. Like this play of the game was supported by Sombra, so to speak, because that play would not have happened without that massive EMP. So Diva, of course, is going to get the kill credit on the kill feed, but Sombra definitely was the one to set that up.
And I think the other big telling thing was Uncivil Word might have had Death Blossom for 3 minutes, just sitting there. Never able to use it. I thought Boise State did a great job using the high ground that Reaper never was able to get any value to where he ever wanted to even press Q. He just kind of sat on that ultimate, and that's a very powerful, and we've seen it from Boise State.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to be ready to walk into the back line and press Q, just like Plato does, but it definitely does take a lot of communication, a lot of faith in your teammates to keep you alive when you do that, and if it's not there, chances are you aren't going to feel like you can actually pull it off.
So as you mentioned, Nerdy, we will hop on to map 3 regardless of the 2-0 Broncos scoreline. It's not the traditional best of 3. It is all 3 maps. Every point matters. So we'll see for Boise State if they're able to win all 3, if Becker College can answer right back. And it looks like for now the Hawks saying, we don't want to change a thing. The only change right now, minor. Spark going to go onto that Reinhardt. We'll see how much fun he has against the Sombra.
Yeah, we see Guac once again pulling out his Reinhardt, and Goblin is going to be on that Bastion. So this will be very interesting coming from the side of Boise State with a little bit of pirate ship action happening.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I mean, we already saw Goblin play it once. There's no teleporter for him to sort of hop back and forth between, but we'll see if he's able to, as you mentioned, Nerdy, hop on the pirate ship and ride it all the way to victory. As you see, Guac there has the shield. Boise State right now with a nice push, but Becker Hawks just sort of waiting for them to come around that corner. And now they're going to full engage. Goblin dropping extremely low. Immortality Field's forced to be used right away. Immediately taken down by Uncivil Word. He gets the first elimination on the Goblin, but Boise State claps right back. They're going to pick up 2, 1 onto Spark, 1 onto Yuchi. Nate dropping extremely low. He's going to be forced out of the mech. Can Boise State pick up their second tank? No, they cannot. Uncivil Word dropping low, as now we see Cyberduo go down the 3 other members from Becker falling. Sacred, the last one who hasn't died, but it's so hard to get a Sombra with a nice win for Boise State.
Yeah, and it's great that Goblin actually just swapped over to Sombra himself after Boise State made it through that bridge area. At this point, it's not advantageous for BSU to stay on Bastion for the remainder of this map and swatch moving over to Sombra. It might catch Becker off guard if they aren't hitting that tab again.
Yeah, it looks like Becker might have went all in on Goblin after what he did earlier, and Boise State was totally okay with that. Once again, Nate's going to get forced out of the mech. Good pick there by Plato. Is able to get the elimination as well to allow Boise State to be up 1. Spark, though, is going to get it back. Here's the Death Blossom, but a nice 4-man EMP from Sacred kind of neutralizes thing. Becker going to sustain a little bit more casualties, but Boise State still going to lose a couple members of their own. You can see Uncivil Word trying to get one more elimination. Wraith forming to safety as he can, but Boise State still has a couple members on the point, and he is going to go down. Probably a panic EMP from Sacred, and it looks like Boise State might be able to get the first point. Nice shatter going to land onto Kel. A hack as well. And Boise State going to lose their Diva mech. We'll see how long Kel can survive, and he can get it back already up at 50%. Goblin has the EMP extremely close, 93. As Nate's now going to lose his mech, and his pair of baby Divas battling it out on both sides as Kel hops right back in. Cyber Noodle going to use the Coalescence. Shatter going to miss from Guac, and there's a 3-man EMP from Goblin that should be enough for Boise State to pick up the first point. Spark and Cyber Noodle going to go down. There's 2 more, and Boise State with a nice team kill to make things nice and clean.
That was a beautiful point take there for Boise State. As we see, we're going to have a large bagel coming in with... Oh, we have a new graphic? I didn't know. I love it. But we have a large bagel coming in with the sound barrier up, and Diva is also going to have self-destruct coming from Kel. And with those 2 ultimates, that is more than enough to sustain during this next fight. But we do have Nape on the other side with his self-destruct, as well as their Reaper with his death blocking. So this is going to be a matter of who hits who first.
Nice hack onto Nape. Sacred also very close to the EMP as well. Be curious if the Hawks are playing for the EMP Blossom or the EMP bomb combo that Boise State has run out so well this evening. There's a nice shatter onto 4 members of Boise State. Who needs the power ultimates when you have a giant hammer hitting the ground? Uncivil Word able to pick up 2, and you can see from Kel's actions, Boise State immediately going to retreat.
Boise State is kind of going to be in a little bit of a hard position here for these next couple of fights. Yes, they do almost have their ultimates, but Becker has all 5 online, and Reinhardt's ult is very easy to get so long as their support are able to boost him basically into the team, and he can get his ultimate up during a Coalescence from the Moira on the side of Becker.
Nice hack on to Sacred to stop any EMP from coming out. Sound barrier going to be used by a large bagel, and unfortunately the EMP from Sacred only hit 1. Goblin claps right back with a 5-man EMP. Death Blossom combos with it. 4 members already have gone down. Nate's out of the mech. Boise State says let's make it 5. Sacred saves them from the nice graphic, but it's not going to matter. Boise State keeps pushing.
Yeah, if Becker is quick enough with these next 2 engages, they might be able to get 1 more fight, but if they're smart, they're actually going to wait on the other side of that archway, lest they get too staggered out and are unable to re-engage quick enough to prevent the next take.
Diva Bomb not able to get anything, but Kel's still able to get Sacred there. We did see Yuchi use the sound barrier, and they're going to be able to pick up 1 onto Plato as the teams trade 1 for 1. Ace are going to use the Coalescence as Boise State just wants to capture the second checkpoint and get some extra time on the clock. Uncivil Word is going to use the Death Blossom. Nice defense matrix by Kel to eat almost all of that damage. He will unfortunately lose the mech in the process, but that saved a ton more eliminations on the Boise State side. Bronco's going to retreat, but you got to shout out Kel for how he played that.
Oh yeah, for sure, but unfortunately, Becker still kind of has a little bit of a lead here with their ultimate charge. Sparks already almost got that shatter up. They do have Coalescence, almost got a self-destruct, and they do almost have their EMP blast as well, whereas Boise State, 90 on the EMP, so that's higher than the other teams, but Guac is still 13 off from shatter. We're really going to be focusing on a large bagel during this next fight, because if Boise State's going to come out on top, they need that sustain, and they might need that sound barrier.
That Blossom and EMP should be up momentarily. There it is. EMP's only going to land onto 2, but Sacred's going to be the first one to go down. Spark losing his shield as well. Boise State not able to punish it. Uncivil Word able to get Plato. You can see Goblin on the back line. He's going to land a hack onto Cyber Noodle, but after the Coalescence came out, Shatter is going to land onto Kel and a large bagel, and Bagel's going to go down before he has the sound barrier. So once again, Boise State looks like they're not going to win a fight. They're going to have to retreat, and now time starting to be against the Broncos.
Yeah, Boise State's going to be going into this next fight with 4 of their ultimates online. However, Becker is still chilling out on that Diva Bomb as well as that EMP blast, and we all know that that can be a deadly combo with your off rate. And in this area particularly, there isn't a lot of cover for Boise State if they get caught out by the EMP.
They have the Death Blossom online. Plato's having that, and then the sound barrier is up for a large bagel, but as you've talked about, Nerdy, easily Yuchi could get that sound barrier, only needing 14% in this next fight. Coalescence for Asu up, Cyber Noodle working on his, but that should probably be up for what could be a potential last fight. You see Goblin in on the back line, trying to hack what he can, as they're going to see a nice Diva Bomb come out. It's going to pick up 1 from NACE as the team's going to trade back and forth. We did see a sound barrier already used by a large bagel. Yuchi has his. Is he going to commit to it? Doesn't look like it right now, as Becker looks looks extremely comfortable, just holding on to the point. Shatter lands onto Kel and Asu. Kel's going to use the Diva Bomb at the very last second to try and get back in the mech. It's going to work, and now Yuchi's going to drop the sound barrier, but Boise State's starting to run out of time, and you can see they're nowhere near the payload. A large bagel trying to hold on to it as we get into overtime. Uncivil Word going to drop the Death Blossom, doesn't get any elimination, and now the Broncos just trying to hold on to get this payload any closer. They have the EMP Death Blossom if they're able to get onto the point, but unfortunately with Guac and Asu going down, it's going to be a very difficult task. You can see Kel and a large bagel trying to do what they can. EMP's going to hit 6 members. Unfortunately for Boise State, there really wasn't anyone else even in the area code, so it's going to be a hold there from Becker, just shy of the second point.
Yeah, Boise State, I don't really know how to describe this any other way, but they were kind of in a route of insanity. They're kind of just repeating the same pathway every single time, hoping that they would get a different outcome, and they really needed to have changed up their pathing on that last push to just mix things up a little bit, get Becker off their A game. They were dominating them on that staircase because they had more space to work with, whereas everybody on the side of Boise State would always be, so to speak, in a domino effect, and that's just feeding into the side of Becker and feeding their ultimate so much faster than BSU was getting them. It's not good. No one likes that. Not good eats. Hopefully Boise State cleans it up during this next fight. Well, this next round.
It was refreshing to see, though, in the world of EMPs and Death Blossoms, the old school Shatter getting a ton of value from Spark, hitting at least 2 almost every time, and that would always kind of shut down any sort of fight Boise State wanted to take. So huge shout out to Spark. We've talked about playing Ryan into Sombra, not always a fun thing, but he made it work, and he got a ton of value, and probably was a big reason Becker was able to hold there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely Spark was getting in the head of Guac, whereas Guac is normally liking to be the one that's in the head of the enemy. So now he's got to reset, and hopefully he had that opportunity during the few moments that are between the rounds, and he's ready to go because we know he can be a beast on Winston.
See here, once again, Becker still in old school. Boise State going to go back to the pharmacy that hasn't betrayed them yet. So once again, the question becomes, if the Broncos start winning, will hit scan be an option from Becker? There is Goblin going to start peppering some shots in. Nice sort of dividing their team from Becker to stop the AoE damage from being too huge, but a great job by Boise State being ready for it as the Broncos waiting for that payload, nearly able to knock Spark off the edge, not quite able to get to it, and he's just putting shots in when he can, also getting powered up. Unfortunately, Guac going to be the one who goes flying. He's going to land on the water. Nape's able to pick up that first elimination. Now Boise State without one of their tanks, so you can see just falling back and waiting for that monkey to respawn.
Yeah, honestly, just a soft reset while you wait for your main tank is more than okay. You might even be able to get a pick off during this reset, but it's quintessential that no one goes down for BSU while they wait for Guac, and Guac is already back and no one is dead.
Great job by Boise State to hold on. Kel has been hacked. Sacred Druck is extremely low from Goblin, but is able to survive, and Kel's now going to pay with his mech, and right now Becker has been uncontested, pushing on to this first point. We'll see how Boise State wants to hold underneath the archway, where it's going to be extremely hard for Goblin to be able to get some shots and get some rocket barrage value. Kel's going to go down. Plato's able to get Nate out of the mech. Cyber will use the cola. Goblin's in on the back line. Rocket barrage. Nice hack going to come out. He only gets one, able to pick up a second one. Bob joining in as well. Boise State throwing nearly every ultimate at it. Unfortunately, first point still went over to Becker, so they'll take that loss.
That is more than okay. They actually did force the reset on the side of Becker, so now they have to get their bearings about them and recontest the payload, while Boise State's just going to be hammering rockets in as well as dynamites from the side of Plato, and that's not always easy to break unless their Sombra is able to hack someone on the backside of PSU.
See that there's a couple of ults nearly up for Becker. Nape's going to throw in the Diva Bomb and gets a nice pick onto Plato. That should open up the payload just a little bit. You can see Kel trying to fly away. He's dropping extremely low. He's going to get forced out of the mech and immediately goes down. Guac will fall as well as the Nano went on to Goblin. Valkyrie came out as well. Goblin does pick up one. Is he able to get a second one? No, he is not before the Nano fades. He's going to try and retreat. Nice resurrection onto Guac, but Boise State right now has just been falling backwards over and over. They really have not won more than maybe half a fight as Becker is just continuing to push the advantage on him. And a nice 4-man EMP going to go out, but right now Boise State flips the table off Becker. They're going to get the first one onto Spark. Nate's going to lose his mech. Unfortunately, nothing else to show for it. You can see Goblin extremely close. Nate's going to just jump on the edge to get a nice little reset. And finally, Boise State's able to win a fight and push back Becker.
I just lost all audio inside of the VMix call.
Barrage ready.
think we'll have to fix Nerdy's audio there as we see Boise State is trying to come up with a nice little hold, reestablishing high ground. Has a bunch of ultimates online. Rocket Barrage Bob and the Primal Rage with Diva Bomb coming up very shortly, but you can see a couple of support ults up for the side of Becker. So they should be more than ready. Shots coming in right into the face of Spark. Unfortunately, that shield's going to eat all of it. Now Boise State going to get their own high ground contested. Goblin's going to get hacked. Bob's going to join the fight. Primal Rage is going to come out as well as the Coalescence on the other side. Goblin's going to drop the Rocket Barrage. He's going to get just one and then immediately go down, but Primal Rage is going to get UG to get Boise State still up a member. Nate's going to get forced out of the mech, and you can see Boise State has a ton of low health bars on Uncivil Word. He's going to go down. Baby Diva's out, but that's not the focus for Boise State as Cyberdoodle will fall. Now they're going to turn their attention to Nate, and he's just going to go down eventually as the Broncos have some fun with their food, just trying to stall out their respawns, and they do a great job of that.
Yeah, and now we're getting down to just under 3 minutes, so we're going to have about 4 fights coming on for the side of Becker. If they can touch the payload and get it pushing, they do stand a very real chance of beating Boise State for the distance record and taking the victory on this map. As it stands now, though, we're kind of equal with the ultimate economy. However, Becker is holding a slight advantage because they do almost have that EMP online.
Becker's going to be able to get underneath that first archway. Nano's going to come out onto Guac. That's also going to be used by Uncivil Word. Unfortunately, no one's going to go down. Valkyrie is going to be used by Asu, and Boise State's going to get his first elimination onto Sacred. The tables have turned, and now Becker is the one who can't find a way to win a fight. Uncivil Word is going to be able to clap back. He does get Guac, and using that life-stealing passive, actually able to just barely stay alive. Yuchi going to use the sound barrier, and you can see Boise State just going to disengage. Kel does have the Diva Bomb. We'll see how he wants to use it. So Coalescence has been used. Nate's going to use his own Diva Bomb, and it's going to be able to pick up 2, and Boise State now has to be careful or they might lose this distance race. Kel has Diva Bomb. He is going to try and use it half zone, half to stay alive, get some hit markers, but nothing more, as Nate gets taken out of the mech thanks to that. Boise State now with some respawns. Plato has gone down, but the Broncos holding firm, but they've still got a minute and a half left, so they've got to win this fight and probably more. Uncivil Word takes down a large bagel. Guac's going to be able to answer right back onto Spark, and no main tank for Becker College is going to make pushing just a little bit harder. You can see Kel trying to find Sombra and a brief moment of relief from both teams.
We have about 2 fights left in this round if Becker does not reach this final point. And we do see that Boise State has Nano Boost almost ready to go, and they are sitting on that Rocket Barrage. So if we get a double boost from Mercy and the Nano Boost, that could be one insane massive kill coming out for Goblin on this Para.
See Goblin trying to get in on the back line. Nice pick onto Yuchi. We'll see if he's able to make a play off of it. 57 seconds left and counting down. Boise State trying to get the hold. One lost fight probably means it's a win for Becker. Boise State, maybe at this point, we might even be in one fight territory. Becker now forced to wait for that Lucio. You can see Boise State doing a great job. They have all the information they need. There are every member. Defense Matrix going to come out to try and absorb it. Goblin trying to find a great place. He's going to get nanoed, and he's going to be in on the back line. Boise State going to get a couple of eliminations, not from the Rocket Barrage, but it's really not going to matter as they're going to get a nice wipe. There it is. Team kill's going to come out, and now Becker College has got to be quick.
Hello.
Nice and crunchy. Good job, guys. That was a great play.
15 seconds left. Can Becker even get to the payload in time? We'll have to see. Boise State doing a great job winning a bunch of fights in a row. A nice double knock off the end by Goblin. That probably is going to seal it. It landed onto both supports. He'll add a third one onto Sacred as well. Becker's going to try and do what he can, or what they can. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to matter. Goblin probably wrapping up a great performance and potential player of the game performance with a double boop to stop any last desperation fight from Becker.
Goblin is an animal. That was some great play on both sides. That far barrage and the boop at the very end were so satisfying to see. I love environmental kills.
Yeah, that was just phenomenal. It kind of made up. I don't want to say the Rocket Barrage was useless, because it wasn't, but when you get the Nano Rocket Barrage on the back line, I'm ready for like a 5-man Rocket Barrage kill, and I was like, they got a bunch of kills, but it wasn't what I wanted. But hey, huge shout out to Goblin nonetheless. Player of the game, it's got to be Goblin, right? I mean, he had a huge Bastion play on Control. He just won that map alone with a double boop. I don't know how it isn't Goblin for how he played in that match.
I'm gonna also myself say Goblin. The chat room was saying Goblin, so I think it's probably going to be Goblin. It's just a hunch, though, you know? We can't always be certain.
Yeah, we've been wrong a couple times with the player of the game, but it's gonna be Goblin. Just phenomenal play on the Pharah, something that Becker, I don't know if they weren't ready for, but it just felt like they weren't comfortable getting onto any sort of hit scan to shut him down. I mean, he absolutely dominated the first map on Lijiang Tower and then the double boop to seal it off. As I said, probably sealing MVP of the game. He was phenomenal. Even if the rocket barrages weren't huge, the damage he continuously put out really was a thorn in the side of Becker.
Oh yeah, that Pharah play was just unbelievable, and Becker had no answer for it, and that's just so hard to counter when you don't have someone who is willing or able to switch over to a hit scan that they're confident on to take care of that.
And then the Bastion play to kick things off as well. I mean, just going back and forth between the teleporter as Boise State. After they won the first fight, they had one in a doorway on the point, one up in the high ground, and Goblin was like, okay, I can't see him anymore. I'm going to hop right down on the point. And Becker was like, wait, where'd the Bastion go? He was up in the window. Where did he go? So, I mean, he played phenomenally. I mean, he's really expanded his hero repertoire in the last few weeks. I mean, it used to be a lot of Widow, a lot of Torbjorn. Now we've got Sombra. Now we've got Pharah. I mean, what can't this man play at this point? It really feels like anything he puts his hands on is going to be a Boise State victory thanks to him.
I do think so, but I'm gonna put my money on if there's one hero he can't play, it would have to be Doomfist. I'm just guessing, though. He could actually be really good at Doomfist.
He's going to be like a 6-man meteor strike just to prove you wrong next week.
I know, just to prove me wrong, get the cute spray middle of the fight and be like, oh yeah, I did it.
But a huge congratulations to Goblin on the Idaho Central Credit Union Player of the Game. Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success. So once again, a huge congratulations to Goblin and the rest of Boise State on their victory over Becker, winning all 3 maps, and then as well as the Orange Squad winning all 3 maps earlier in the NECC. Well, we are not done. We're going to have one NACE match coming up. But before we do that, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to have our top 5 plays from that Bronco 3-map victory over Becker College. But don't go anywhere. We've got more Overwatch on the horizon. EMP from coming out. Sound barrier going to be used by a large bagel, and unfortunately the EMP from Sacred only hit one. Goblin claps right back with a 5-man EMP. Death Blossom combos with it. 4 members already have gone down. NACE out of the mech. Boise State says let's make it 5. Sacred saves them from the nice graphic, but it's not going to matter. Boise State keeps pushing. They need. There are every member. Defense Matrix going to come out to try and absorb it. Goblin trying to find a great place. He's going to get nanoed, and he's going to be in on the back line. Boise State going to get a couple of eliminations. None from the rocket barrage, but it's really not going to matter as they're going to get a nice wipe. There it is. Team kill's going to come out, and now Becker College has got to be quick.
Yeah, and that's an okay strategy coming from the Broncos because they do have a little bit more limited mobility during this engage, but that's a massive shadow that we have coming out right now on the side of the block. Absolutely huge. And the fact that Becker once again just jumps off the high ground and just ducks in a row right in front of the block right there for that shatter to be.
Get some shots and get some rocket barrage value. Kell's going to go down. Plato's able to get Nate out of the mech. Cyber will use the coalesce. Goblin's in on the back line. Rocket barrage. Nice hack going to come out. He only gets one. Able to pick up a second one. Bob joining in as well. Boise State throwing nearly every ultimate at it. Unfortunately, first point still went over to Becker, so they'll take that loss. Going to be used by both Cyberdoodle and Asu as now we enter into overtime. Death Blossom from Uncivil Word's going to pick up 1. Boise State, there it is. The EMP is going to land onto 4. Bomb's going to come out as well and pick up 3 for Boise State. That flipped the fight so hard it would look like a Bronco loss, or at least a Bronco failure to cap in overtime, but the deep bomb.
About time.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Bravo 6 to Griggs. Step on the move. Copy. Say the word, Captain.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're going to wrap things up tonight with a little bit of a swap. Still going to be Overwatch, but we're going to swap over tournaments. Going to go into NACE, so we'll go back to our traditional best of 5. Boise State taking on it. We'll have to see who the info is. They're not familiar with that logo. It looks like we'll be curious to see it is a B on a B. Going to be Boise State taking on Bushnell. It was different than they took him on in Rocket League, but that was a different logo. I wanted to be sure. I didn't want to say Bushnell and then we're playing a different school. So, we talked about it, Dirty Bird. As a caster, it's better to just not fully commit and be wrong and just sort of be half wrong. And that's what I was going for there. Yes. I didn't want chat to be like, that's clearly this school's not. I was like, hey, let's figure it out. Production, let me know. That is Boise State versus Bushnell, which, as we talked about, Bushnell is an interesting player who actually played in the Overwatch World Cup in 2019 for Romania. So, going to be an interesting there. He's a support player. Alexio is going to be his name to watch out for. But anyone who could be in a World Cup team, going to be someone Boise State's got to watch out for.
Oh, for sure. And if anything, it just kind of gets you a little bit nervous. And he's also a super sweet person to meet in real life. But he is a great player. And honestly, when you hear that someone was pro, semi-pro, anything like that, it kind of gets you shaken in your boots, especially when we're younger. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to how you are able to operate with your teammates. So if he's not communicating well enough with his team, that could be his downfall. But I'm really excited to be able to spectate and watch this because it is, quote unquote, pro level gameplay that we'll be able to see on his end at least. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, from all things that I've heard, he's just a really nice guy, really fun to be around. But yeah, as you talked about, how does he mesh in with this team? Because he's not bringing his Romanian World Cup team to this. That would be a different story. He's going to be on the side of Bushnell, which throughout this semester, Boise State is currently 1-0 against former pros, taking down a League of Legends pro earlier in the semester. So he's got his work cut out for him, and Boise State has been on fire in NACE. The Overwatch team, to my knowledge, the only loss the Broncos have suffered have been to themselves. Because the rules say they had to play against each other. They played against each other last week. Blue beat Orange, and that's the only loss I've seen for Boise State in NACE. So we'll see if Bushnell and Alexio there on the Anna, former World Cup player for Romania in the Overwatch World Cup 2019, can put a loss on the Broncos side.
I'm excited. I'm expecting some very skilled sleeps and some fantastic nades coming out from that Anna. So hopefully Boise State has Diva ready to, block those sleeps and block those nades. But we already see before we even get there, a sleep was already landed on Plato.
Yeah, looks like Boise State Blue Squad back at it for their second match of the night. Right now, no one going down, but Goldfish going to get hacked, and he is going to pay for no shield. Plato going to pick up Hanami as well. And Boise State now up 2. You can see starting to push the advantage, put the point unlocked, so they'll fall back.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested in this comp that Bushnell's pulled out. As you can see, they do have the legs and the Reaper, whereas we're running with the Sombras. So they have a slight disadvantage because of the amount of utility that is relied on by both of their DPS for their movement. If Sombra gets in their back line and hacks them, they are basically just dead in the water.
Goldfish gonna get one back. Ace's Coalescence not enough to keep Guac alive, but Ace is gonna get 2 on his own. Who needs a DPS? As the support players for Boise State pick up 3 eliminations. Finally, Plato joins in, and the Broncos win another fight.
Enemies on my radar.
Yeah, and they're already at the clock. The percentage is already up to 30%. We've got Plato and Goblin both almost ready with their ultimates, as well as Guac. Guac, a large bagel, already almost has his ultimate too. He might have to pop it in the case that Goldfish lands a massive shatter, but for now they're pretty darn safe unless that soldier gets his ult too quickly.
5-man EMP lands from Goblin, and you can see the health bars melting. Alexio's going to get a nice sleep on the Guac as the elimination. So now we're going to see a Death Blossom come out from Plato. He's able to pick up just one. Kel gets another one, and Boise State with a great win once again. But it took most of their ultimates, and you can see Bushnell's got quite a few ready to go.
Bushnell does have both of their DPS ults almost ready to go. Soldier already has his. They have Shatter and they have Sound Barrier. And that Sound Barrier is going to be key in countering Kel's ultimate if he gets it in a great spot, because it's going to be the only thing that's going to be able to protect their team if their Reinhardt is getting perpetually hacked by our Sombra.
Guac can use the Primal Rage, has been anti. He's actually going to take down Haka before the beat hits the ground. Great job there, canceling out that ultimate. Then he gets a 3-man knock off the edge to go with it. Guac, what a play. My goodness.
Check this out.
He is an animal, literally.
That was insane. I mean, that might have just actually won first point for Boise State. You can see 100%. No one can get there. Guac just single-handedly won that whole fight. That was insane. I'm pissed at the camera that the camera wasn't on Guac, because my goodness, that was
I'm
nuts.
actually very mad myself because it was behind the camera. It's so sad, but I'm just going to say it now. That's probably going to be play of the game. Environmentals kind of give a leg up to normal kills, and a 3-man environmental is literally huge. Calling it now, Guac, player of the game.
And not even to mention that he took down Haka before the sound gun hit the ground, which is what lets the sound barrier go out. So he canceled out a full ultimate, had another fight occurred. So, yeah, I mean, that's got to be play of the game for Guac. That was incredible. I don't know how you can repeat that. All I know is Boise State's up an early 1-0, and now as we hop into this next one, you have to feel confident for the Broncos. And remember when you said Goblin, you thought maybe the only thing he couldn't play was Doomfist, Nerdy?
I feel like he did this just to spurn me, really, but we'll see how he does. If he instantaneously hops off Doom, I'm going to count that as inting and just giving up.
Okay, it's going to be the first one to go down. Goblin, unfortunately, he's going to be eliminated. We'll see if he swaps off the Doomfist. Plato dropping low from the ante, but he's able to be back and still staying up. We already have one swap. There it is. He's going to go on to the McCree. We're going to see the Tracer come out as well. As the team's once again going to trade eliminations. Alexio for Guac. Shockmaster going to go down as well. Going to put Boise State up just a member, and the Broncos now have got Goblin back in the fight. Plato gets another one. There's another environmental kill. Goblin joins in on the fun at the very end, and Boise State with another great win to kick things off here on our second map.
In all honesty, I genuinely want to start a ticker for a large bagel for how many environmental kills he manages to get in every single one of our games, because in all honesty, he does an incredible amount of killing for a Lucio player, but the amount of environmental kills is honestly ridiculous.
Boise State doing a great job winning early and winning often. You can see the Death Blossom is nearly up, as well as the Coalescence. And Haka going to be the first one to be taken down once again. Boise State just really pushing the advantage. You can see Goldfish and Shockmaster both very low. Goldfish goes down, Coalescence comes out, and the Broncos racking up kills. Can they get okay? No, they cannot. At least not for now. That Tracer's running away, but it really does not matter.
Yeah, Boise State is also sitting on 2 ultimates that are going to be ready to go before the next fight even starts. Goblin is very close to his ultimate, as well as a large bagel and Guac, whereas we see Bushnell here is at 70% on both their support ults, both their DPS ult. Actually, their Reapers is lower, and the only ult they have definitively is their Shatter, and against our current comp from Boise State, that Shatter is going to be pretty hard to pull off.
You cannot shatter up onto the high ground, so he's going to be hard-pressed for targets. There's the Death Blossom to kick things off. Plato not going to be able to get any eliminations with it, but Boise State's still going to pick up 4 nonetheless. Alexio is going to go down as well, and the Broncos just starting to take control here.
Yeah, but during this next fight, Bushnell has a clear advantage if they can pop that nano and get one of their DPS to get into the back line with it, or possibly give it to their Reinhardt so he can just go in swinging, because let's be real, the second season of Overwatch, Beyblade was the play, and it still is a play that can be done.
Deadeye going to come out. Goblin not going to pick up anything. Nano's going to be dropped from Alexio, but he's going to pay for it. Okay, it's going to go down as well. There's the Shatter, just hits Kel. Sound barrier from Haka and a large bagel, both going to be used. And right now, as Haka's sound barrier fades, so do the members of Bushnell. They've just lost Shockmaster. Finally, they get a kill on the Goblin, but that's all they picked up. We are in overtime already. Boise State well on their way to winning control. As you can see, the members just sort of filing in. Goldfish and Haka both going to go down. Okay, hopping around on Tracer. Pulse Bob's going to come out, not able to pick up anything. Bushnell nearly did actually capture the point at that time, but you could see it's really not going to matter. Boise State holds on, and they're going to go up 1 here to kick things off.
I'm just going to say this now because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and we have Ollie Warrior in the chat room saying it's over, Bushnell. I have the high ground, and it's just perfect. I love it.
It really, I mean, you know, I don't want to run that one into the ground because I've dropped it a couple times, but that's really how it sort of feels, especially when there's a shatter. You're like, I have the high ground, just don't try and shatter. I will say, Nerdy Bird, I want to throw into the ring something that Goblin can't do that I've seen very few people ever do, actually make Deadeye a worthwhile ultimate. Didn't get anything. I don't even know if he got a hit marker.
He really did kind of just pop it and just sit there for a while. I guess that kind of is another markup on the board for Fish is right.
Exactly.
Deadeye is a useless ult.
And the chat goes wild. It's a zoning ult. It's a zoning ult. Look, Diva's a zoning ult because it's a tank ult. If a DPS has a zoning ult, they probably shouldn't be played. But that's enough for my personal vendetta. We'll see if McCree comes out. He does have his value. We've seen it counter the Pharah from time to time. You just don't ever press the Q. It's probably the one hero I'd say just don't hit Q. Pretend your Q doesn't exist. So we'll see if that has to come up again. But you have to love the way Boise State played that. I mean, they really just took control of every fight and really just sort of neutralized any advantage that Bushnell ever had. And it was every member making a play. Guac on map 1. You mentioned a large bagel had an environmental kill on map 2. Everyone's come to play for Boise State.
Oh, for sure. When they come to play, they are not joking around ever. I mean, granted, yes, we do joke around in our matches on occasion. We've seen those silly instances. Yeah. But when it comes to these matches, they take it very seriously. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it, and it definitely shows.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see where we want to go next with Bushnell having the choice. I know Boise State's going to be comfortable regardless of what hybrid or escort map it is. These tournaments sometimes flip the order of the second map, so I'll be curious to see if it is the traditional King's Row that makes its appearance or if it's going to be an escort map. But, I mean, you can't complain about how Boise State played that. I mean, there really were no complaints. Not at all. I mean, they've just been spectacular. They were spectacular in their last match that we saw for this Boise State Blue squad. They were great in this one to kick things off. I really don't know where Bushnell can go from here. I mean, if you lose multiple fights in a row, it's like, hey, good luck. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it gets very difficult. It can become very tilting as well, and sometimes that does reflect in the gameplay. So we only got to hope that Bushnell is able to recenter themselves before this next map and pick a map that plays more into their personal play style that they are ready to counter Boise State with. But in order to know what map is not great for Boise State, they would have had to have done a lot of scouting, and that is a lot of extra time.
Well, speaking of scouting, we also have Doc's keys to the game that Boise State can use if they want to win a second map here, win the first fight. Did a great job doing that. Stabilize and reset if needed. We've seen that tonight from Boise State. Target focus has been phenomenal, and Boise State, especially on control against Bushnell, was just utterly destroying them when it was an unfair fight, something Boise State loves to take all the time. It's all brought to you by Count, who, thanks to their Identity Trust Global Network, has real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and personalized customer experiences for more than 9,000 leading payment plans and providers. If you want more information about staying safe online, check them out at count.com, KOUNT.com. And Boise State, I mean, everyone at Doc's Keys to the Games was really, really fantastic. We're going to get the Glock replay. I'm excited. I'm so happy. Because he shut down the Lucio before the sound barrier came out, and then he got a 3-man environmental kill. And unfortunately with replays, it happens all the time. You just don't get the right camera angle. So here we go. Here is Guac, the early potential nominee for Idaho Central Credit Union Player of the Game. There it is. Haka just popped the ultimate. And there it is. He just knocks them all off. Oh, it's that easy. My goodness. And he gets another elimination. 5 eliminations for the Winston in one fight.
That was beautiful. I'm so glad we actually got that view. Thank you, production, for popping back into the replay so we could see that, because we were very hurt not being able to see that in our field of view.
I mean, that's got to be probably a top 5 play of the night. I don't care what happens from the way on out. I mean, just everything he did, shutting down the sound barrier, gets the 3-man environmental kill, says, hey, I'm going to pick up a 5th one. Why not in the fight? I mean, I'm so excited we got to see that replay. That was one of the greatest things we've ever not seen, and then to be able to see it was just even better.
Yeah, I'm very satisfied. That was a great play from Guak. Granted, as we've established, he is an animal when it comes to being a main tank. He, tries to outthink and outsmart the enemy every single time, and it just goes to show how much preparation has gone into this.
Take some more looks here at a couple other replays for Boise State's really, it might have been overall 200-0 victory on Control. I'm not even sure if Bushnell even got on the point to get even a percent. I mean, that is how dominating Boise State was on both maps.
Boise State is a force to reckon with. They are a machine. I will not lie. Both teams tonight have played phenomenally. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of maps that we get to play with Bushnell. I kind of don't hope it's Scrim 0. I'm really hoping that we get to see maybe Blizzard World because that opens up a little bit more for the comp-wise from both teams. But we'll have to wait and see.
It's going to be Bushnell taking on Boise State in the NACE Skill Shot Collegiate Varsity Tournament. These teams a little bit familiar with each other. The Rocket League squads actually played a handful of matches earlier this week with Boise State winning 2 of the 3. The Overwatch squad trying to get their first victory as we're going to go. Hey, it's not Kings Row, Nerdy. You can rejoice.
Yes, it is Junkertown, but with Junkertown, now I'm thinking we're going to see another Bastion strat come out, but we're not. We actually have Plato here on the Widowmaker with Rezo on a Hanzo, so we're going with the double sniper strat as well as got Guak on Wrecking Ball, which is not something we get to see very often, and Kel is going to be on that Sigma. Large Bagel is going to be sniping and doing his best Jonak impersonation for this next round on Zenyatta, and Asu will be on Mercy.
A little bit of an actual near mirror. Bushnell only swapping out the Hanzo for the Ash, but still 2 snipers and then everything else is the same. So we'll see if that is going to work out for the Beacons. Right now, Rizzo says not so fast. He's going to pick up the first elimination onto OKH. And right now, Boise State holding the sniper high ground. Kel's going to get another one onto Shockmaster. And the Beacon strategy might need to be rethunk here as Boise State is just absolutely shutting down any push they can have. And it looks like now Boise State's just going to wait as a soft reset there coming out, trying to use those sight lines for the Beacon.
I'm just going to throw this out there that Guak just did some great behind enemy lines rolling and barely took any damage, so he wasn't much of an old battery for his support like normal Wrecking Ball players tend to be.
You see him and Goldfish going at it. 2 hamsters battling in on the Boise State back line. Doesn't look like Goldfish able to get much of an elimination or of Discord going to land on the Guak, and he is not going to be worried at all. Nice little sightline use there. Goldfish has to try and get away. Point has been slowly pushing. Now Guak's going to go in, do some damage to Shockmaster. He is in on the back line, but once again, Goldfish doing a great job of sticking with him. This time, OK is able to get the win on the Play-Doh, but Guak's going to answer right back onto the Widowmaker, and a res nullifies any elimination he picked up, but Bushnell still wants to keep pushing. Nice job by Guak getting in on the back line, doing his damage when he can, but it doesn't look like it's going to result in any elimination. Dragon Strike already coming out from Rezo. We'll see if they're able to pick up anything. Alexio using the Transcendence. Probably going to mean his team's going to stay alive. Valkyrie from Asu is going to be using. Now, with the Transcendence down, Kel's going to pick up a pair. Guak trying to find one more. Not quite able to do it, but Boise State is going to get one in the process. Asu getting the Battle Mercy kill onto Finami.
Honestly, I feel like Bushnell is just not quite sure what to do into this comp from Boise State because, yeah, they're near identical comps going right now, but Bushnell is just not playing at the level that Boise State is presenting them with right now. As Guak is just dropping into the back line and destroying as many as Bushnell as he can, or distracting them as much as he can.
Russ is going to come out to stop what had been a 1-for-1, and then the Minefield plus Plato going to take down both DPS on the side of Bushnell. And now you can see walking on the back line. He's going to get the Orb of Discord from Alexio and able to retreat, just able to hide from a nice couple of sniper shots coming in. And now, once again, Boise State doing a great job of melting the clock. Bushnell really hasn't gotten an impactful elimination. I think Asu has rezzed both kills that the Beacons have picked up. Rezu's going to get another one, and Guak now swinging around in on the back line as Plato picks up one for himself onto Alexio. Valkyrie's going to come out from Haka. He's going to be able to get the res, but we'll see if Boise State can punish him. Doesn't look like they're able to get it. Now we're going to see the Gravitic Flux coming out. Transcendence used by a large bagel, and Boise State finally going to lose the member onto Plato. Now let's see if Asu can get another clutch res. A large bagel dropping extremely low, but a nice knock off by Guak onto Alexio. There's the res once again. Asu 3 for 3 and shutting down any elimination. Rezo and Kel going to pick up a couple more. Shockmaster dropping very, very low. Kel just trying to get him. Nice shields are going to be stopping that, snap, and Plato will pick him up. And Boise State doing a great job here. And now there's only 50 seconds left.
This is my first opportunity to really watch Kel play on Sigma, and he is just a pure animal. He is just walking right into the front line and using all of his abilities, like, just perfectly. There is no, like, doubt of what abilities he has on cooldown, which ones he's able to use, and when he's going to be using them. He's just so comfortable on Sigma. I am looking forward to more Sigma play from Kel, because it is apparently his most comfortable hero, so we don't get to see him on it very often.
Kel gets one. We now see Bushnell has decided to get away from their double sniper. Okay, it's going to go over to the Tracer. We'll see if it's really going to make a difference with just 15 seconds left. Infrared sight from Plato going to come out. And okay, it's going to be the first one taken down. You see Fanami is extremely low as well. There's only 8 seconds left. The Resurrection is going to put us at a full 6-on-6 here for what could be potentially the final fight. Dragonstrike going to kick things off. Transcendence and Valkyrie going to be used. Ace is going to answer back with his own Valkyrie as Rezo's going to get the first elimination. Fanami has called in Bob. Gravitic Flux used by Kel, slams down, not going to be able to get any elimination. Bob doing all the work for Bushnell. He's picked up 2. Alexio falling as well. I mean, Boise State still up 1. Now they're going to get Haka and Goldfish. Shockmaster falls as well. We'll see if Okage can get onto the point. He cannot. Boise State with a quite excellent hold.
That was fantastic gameplay from the side of Boise State. They utilized sightlines well. They weren't giving in to any of the dumb poking that was being done. They weren't going to give any ultimate charge to the enemy team if they could help it. And they were diving in and out at perfect time so that their supports were able to get them up and ready to go without one of their own teammates going down.
Yeah, really just great play all around. I don't know if the double sniper really worked too well for Bushnell. I mean, the Beacons probably got, I think, 4 eliminations before that final fight, and Asu had 3 reses. Asu was the secret MVP to that, because anytime someone went down, he got a nice res, and it was a 6v6 again.
Yes, support players deserve props. Good job on Asu for making sure that he was able to get those reses off without dying, because that is very important to a lot of Mercy players, that you don't sacrifice yourself in the process of the res, because it's kind of a pointless trade at that point.
Yeah, Boise State also doing a great job sort of nullifying Alexio. He was an Overwatch World Cup player in 2019 for the Romanian squad, so you know he is a very, very talented support. Plays a lot of Zenyatta and Ana, and Boise State did a really, really good job of taking him away. Looks like he's going to go back onto the Ana. He did have a couple of nice sleeps on control. We'll see if he's able to sleep down the Boise State push here and put him to bed and make it a 1-1 game.
Well, if anything, this is going to give Alexio a lot of opportunity to shut down Kel on that Sigma, who was really the playmaker during this last round.
Things off here. Looks like it is going to be Bushnell with just the 1 sniper. Plato's going to pick up 1 onto Haka. Him and Rezo played it perfectly with the Widowmaker and the Hanzo last round. We see Guac once again on the back line. Alexio's right around the corner. Tries to get a knockoff, not able to land it, but he's going to put some damage on and then retreat. And right now, the only issue for this comp for Bushnell is they're just letting Boise State get a free push almost all the way to where they need to go. Finally, they're going to try and stop them. It might be too little too late. Fanami and Rezo both going to go down. Plato going to pick up another one onto Haka. Shockmaster going to be forced out of the mech. Once again, it's Plato. There is Kel. He'll get the final elimination, but Boise State might just wrap this up in under a minute. Barely a few members of Bushnell left to contest. Alexio is going to go down, and that payload is going to reach the parking spot. That was a quick victory to put Boise State already onto match point.
Yeah, we've got one more map left during this sequence of games that we have going on right now. Boise State did take the first 2 victories, but we will be playing out this 3rd map regardless, because this is NACE and we give points out, and that is how your ranking is determined. So it's better to go out fighting and try to not go out on a clean sweep from BSU and try to at least win 1 map. So we'll see what map Bushnell picks, and now I believe they only get to pick a hybrid, right?
Yeah, we should be going to hybrid here, so I'll be curious to see. I would guess, as much as we don't like it, Kings Row, usually the map of choice. A lot of teams play on it. Of course, the nickname Scrims Row there for a reason, so I'll be curious to see what they want to pick. But, I mean, Boise State, I mean, once again, this is another game where you kind of come out and you say, that was almost perfect. I mean, especially that offensive push. I don't even know if they lost a member when they pushed down, which you have to question Bushnell's strat, though. It was sort of weird that they just kind of let the Broncos push all the way to the checkpoint. But if you're curious and getting in on some Call of Duty action, we have the tournament for you. October 10th, the Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational in partnership with the Idaho Army National Guard. Gonna have some great prizes for you. We've done a couple of these events with the National Guard. They're always a ton of fun. huge turnout. This one is going to be a duo Warzone tournament. It's a little bit different, but still should be a lot of fun. I'll be curious to see how they want to play this one out. There's a couple of different little modes how you do duo Warzone tournaments, but I'm excited. You want more information? You saw it there. Idaho Army National Guard. Any social media, that'll get you more information. October 10th should be a ton of fun. But first, Boise State's got to win this map so that we can go home, the players can pause their stream, and they can start practicing for that tournament.
Oh yes, of course.
Boise State taking.
And once again, you go ahead and take it, Fish.
I was gonna say Boise State taking on Bushnell in the NACE Skill Shot Collegiate Varsity Tournament. Boise State up 2-0 right now, heading to a third map, Nerdy, and Bushnell. There it is. We knew it.
Oh,
we knew it.
It's Scrimgrow. I feel like it's a little bit of a curse.
They have hybrid third, as we talked about. Sometimes it's escort hybrid, sometimes it's hybrid escort. There we go. We see the NACE rules there at the bottom. Thank you very much, production, for informing all of us how we're going to go and where we could go after this. Boise State right now not going to run the Sombra. That would be my one pet peeve, Nerdy, because it's been playing really, really well for Boise State and against Boise State. Really feels like a strong meta hero that OK is going to at least hover for now. And then swap up.
Yeah, as they are, it is a strong meta pick. And unfortunately, OK should have stuck on that Sombra because we do have Plato on the Doomfist, and he is a force to be reckoned with. And one of the few things that shut down a Doomfist are a Sombra, a Brigida, or a McCree.
Right now, the team's just sort of trading back and forth at the snatch. You can see Rezo is up on the high ground in the back line, put some shots in. Goldfish dropping incredibly low. Unfortunately for Boise State, no Sombra on their side means there's not a hack to shut down the shield. It's not going to matter, though. Finanami going to be the first one taken down for Bushnell. And Boise State with a great start off here. We'll see if they want to keep going. Nice ante going to force Boise State back around the wall, but that's going to allow Bushnell time for their member to respawn.
Yeah, Boise State, though, because we do not have the Sombra who needs to be cloaked right now, we are able to use Zarya's bubbles to help our Doomfist get in and get damage done and get some mega charge on our Zarya. So we have already almost got Graviton Surge and we're not even done with the second fight yet.
Rezo's going to pick up a total of 3. Looks like Boise State does have Alexio there. Going to just wait that one out and then stagger it. Boise State, what a start. And now another swap from OKH, but not the Sombra that it needs to be. It's the McCree.
It is the McCree, and so now if he's going to be relying on his flashbang in order to shut down our Doomfist, he needs to time it. Oh my goodness, what a fire strike. He needs to time it perfectly so that our Zarya bubble is not on our Doomfist and he doesn't waste his flashbang.
Grab going to be used by Kel. Nice job by Goldfish holding up with the shield for now, but it's not going to matter. Boise State getting in on the back line, takes down OK. Haka able to drop the sound barrier to keep the rest of his team just barely alive, and they're going to have to retreat and fall back, wait for that McCree.
Yeah, and we're going to be going into this next fight with both the Tankled on the side of Bushnell ready to go, and with the boosted Reinhardt running into a Graviton Surge, Boise State might lose both their tanks, and they do, with a 3-man kill, 4-man kill coming out from the side of Bushnell, but they did use a lot of ults.
Yeah, they threw everything at Boise State. Be curious to see if the Broncos plan on re-engaging or if they're just going to allow for the payload to be captured. Look like for now they're just content letting the payload be captured. That double kill probably all but seals that fate.
Yes, now at this point, Boise State must retreat very quickly. They do not have their Lucio to help them reconvene fast, so it's better off that we had Plato close enough to int and die quickly, and Kel is able to retreat a little bit. But Ana is trying to go toe-to-toe with the front line here at BSU. Let's hope that doesn't spell demise for her.
Fish gonna drop low. You see just the ultimate up for OK there. Boise State's got the Death Blossom as well as the Sound Barrier and the Coalescence, so the Deadeye is going to have to pierce through several shields. Be curious if it chooses just a zoning on. There is the Deadeye. It is going to come out. Coalescence has been used. OK is not going to pick up a single thing. Guac and Finami going to trade kills there onto Goldfish and Rezo, so the Reaper and the Reinhardt going to go down. A large Bagel going to use the Sound Barrier there as the grab does come out. Good job for Boise State absorbing that one, and a late nano from Alexio after the grab had gone out. Going to be curious to see if that's going to be punished at all by Boise State. As Shockmaster not going to do much. Kel's now going to use his own grab. You can see Guac is there with the hammer. Rizzo is going to be taken down. It looks like he got an environmental kill, but Boise State right now really does not care about him. They're trying to find a way to win this fight. Well, unfortunately, that grab didn't have much impact. Just the shatter onto Shockmaster. Not going to be huge impact either. Okay, it's going to pick up Kel, and Boise State looks like they're probably forced to retreat, and Ante onto Guac going to spell his doom.
Yeah, with both their tanks down, honestly, Boise State should just be using their Lucio ability and inting onto payload to stall it out just a little bit longer, throwing their bodies on it so their spawns are not as spread out as they would be if they're running back and trying not to die right now.
Like Boise State might have just one more fight here, at least to contest the payload. Another one fight means Bushnell will be on to the last checkpoint, but with 2.5 minutes left, it's going to have to be a really long hold from Boise State. We do have just the Coalescence up for the Broncos. Nice sleep onto Kel. The Shatter and the Death Blossom up for Bushnell. Coalescence going to kick things off here from Asu. A huge 6-man Shatter comes out from Goldfish, and see ya, Boise State. 3 members go down. Okay, it's going to throw in the Deadeye. Still can't find anything, and Boise State, regardless, is going to have to give up that point. What a Shatter by Goldfish.
For sure, and Alexio definitely was helping out, pumping a lot of healing into his teammates right there. Asu was trying to get our Reinhardt a clean opportunity to push into the point using his Coalescence, but the other Reinhardt was just one step ahead, knew that that was going to happen as it is a very common strategy to use, and just instantly shattered the entire side of BSU.
Shockwave's going to come out. There, see the Riptire come out as well. The Nano landed on the Goldfish, but it really did not matter. Plato doing a great job flipping that fight despite the grab against the Broncos. Goldfish dropping extremely low. He will go down to the trap, and a great swap by Plato onto the Junkrat, and that is what turned that fight for Boise State when they needed it most.
Yeah, that was honestly fantastic. That high ground control that he had during that grab, he was able to use his landmines just to zone back the other teammates away from Boise State's front tank line and made sure that BSU's tank did not go down because of the damage he was outputting.
Death Blossom is going to be used there by Phenami. It's going to be able to pick up 2. Coalescence used by Asu, but it wasn't enough, and now Boise State's got to be concerned with Kel going down. That Bushnell could go all 3 points and have a decent chunk of time left as well. Asu's going to fall. Boise State's got to find a way onto the point. Doesn't look like a body block coming out yet from the beacons. Rizzo's going to get one onto Alexio. Can Boise State get on? Yes, they can. Just 1 meter before it caps. The large bagel sound barriers. Nice through-man Shatter going to come out, but Haka going to use a great sound barrier as well to cancel any fall for Boise State. Immortality field dropped by Asu, and the Broncos look like they have survived for now, but there's 2 minutes left, and Bushnell just needs 1 fight.
As it stands now, though, we've got Plato with his Riptire, and he's notorious for getting multi-man kills on that. And Kel also has his Graviton Surge, where as Bushnell is not ready for that, the Beacons do not have a sound barrier or any other form of support ultimates to keep them alive during the Graviton Surge from Kel. But somehow they survived just a little bit, but the war of attrition will continue on, and Boise State should just play cleanup now.
Boise State gonna get the nice cleanup there. Okay, and whiffing once again on the Deadeye, and it looks like for Boise State, they just got to be careful they don't over-aggress and leave the payload wide open, and there's still a couple fights left for Bushnell. The Shatter up for Goldfish. It's a thing of legend right now. He already hit a 6-man Shatter that won the 2nd checkpoint, so Boise State got to be hyper-aware. Nice leap onto Plato. Good job there by Guac blocking, and now Bushnell's pushing in. Shatter the only thing online, plus the Nano. Boise State's got to survive with 0 check marks and 0 above 60%. Grab alive as well means Boise State's going to have to pull out a near miracle to win this fight, but they're doing a great job just stalling out. Shockwave's going to start the fight there. Nano onto Goldfish. It's going to land. Nice shield and a nice Shatter whiff by from Goldfish means Boise State's staying alive for now. A 3-man anti does land. Plato goes down, but everyone else on Boise State stays alive thanks to a nice Coalescence. Rizzo going to drop his own Deadeye. See if he's able to pick up anything, but the shield blocking means probably not much more than a hit marker. But Boise State survived somehow. The 3 ults thrown against him, and now Kel with his own grab and a nice pick onto Okayan might mean another last-second hold for Boise State. A 2-man stun as well. Kel picks up his 2nd. Goldfish and Guac going to run right into each other. Guac should win this one. He will. Haka going to fall off the map. And Boise State with probably one of the best holds we've ever seen here, pending the last 10 seconds to hold just meters in front of their own 3rd checkpoint.
Honestly, that was a beautiful retake from the side of Boise State. I honestly can say I did not anticipate that going as well as it did. Even though they had no ultimates going into that final fight that dragged out for what felt like ages, they still pulled it off.
Is Boise State taking on Bushnell? NACE Skill Shot Collegiate regular season. Broncos up 2-0 right now here, looking to try and get their 3rd win and wrap things up, but they've got a long way to go. As we've talked about, we started already once Nerdy Bird. This is basically an effective 3-point cap for the side of Bushnell, so Boise State can have their work cut out for them, but you've got to say that great hold to potentially save us from overtime was a thing of beauty from the Broncos.
Oh, for sure. And they didn't even... The side of BSU didn't even swap to their stall comp. I'm pretty sure they're like, nah, we got this in their comp. They're like, we just got to touch it. And then once Rezo got that headshot in on the Ana with the Sonic Arrow, they knew that they had it in the bag.
Yeah, work cut out for Boise State, though. They still got to get all 3 points and see if maybe Bushnell can put together an excellent hold. Looks like for Boise State, a couple of little chops as well. The Doomfist and the Echo, at least for now, being hovered by the Broncos before they start their attack.
Yeah, and we actually see Guac swapping over from the Reinhardt over to a Winston, and Rezo hopping on Genji. Oh, that made me a little sad. I really do enjoy Rezo's Genji play, but he is also a great Doomfist. I have no idea what this player is thinking right now. It's probably going to be Doomfist nonetheless. So, with that in mind, Boise State is going to be running a very similar strategy that they did on defense, just on offense this time, so they get to have a little bit more aggression with their playstyle.
Yeah, nicely on to Kel to kick things off there from Alexio. Going to get the nice body block coming out from Guac with the Reinhardt shield. The Broncos going to go hopping right onto the point. Alexio going to be the first one taken down by Plato. And you can just see the health bars falling for Bushnell. They've got to be careful. Boise State's not really sustaining much, if any, casualty. It looks like the Beacon's almost content to just give up the payload. 2 checks already down. Plato and Shockmaster going to trade off kills there. Rezo going to pick one up as well onto Okage. Now the Beacons hop on. Resurrecto onto Plato means it is a full Broncos squad, and now Bushnell looks like they're going to be retreating. They're going to get a couple eliminations, but Boise State well on their way to capture the payload.
Yeah, and Boise State's now going to push forward and try to claim as much space as they possibly can and maybe pick up a few staggers to really push back Bushnell right here. And they're going to get Okage as he's just not doing enough on that McCree to shut down our DPS right now. Maybe he needs to swap his up to playstyle, and it looks like Boise State's just kind of playing with the front line right now.
Boise State all the way near the 3rd capture point right now. 2 members sitting back just being like, all right, we'll just push the payload. So Boise State going to be more than content with that stall. Right now for Bushnell, you can see they really don't have an ultimate online. They got the Echo ult and the Shatter up for Boise State. Be curious, there's Plato. He's going to also hop onto the Rhine, so double Shatter. But a huge sleep from Alexio immediately nullifies any ult Plato had. Unfortunately for Bushnell, they're going to lose 2 members in the process. Guac still holding on to the Shatter. Now he's going to use it. Just lands onto Shockmaster, who had been nanoed, but he'll go down with the Meteor Strike from Rezo before he can drop the grab. Sleep going to come out from Alexio, but it's really not going to matter. Boise State right now just pushing. Only problem, no one was on the payload, so it's going backwards.
Yeah, that's something that we run into a couple of times, but it was very important that we had the people on the payload push forward and help keep the team alive, and then go to the payload.
Should allow Bushnell, if you are a Beacon fan or if you are worried for Boise State, at least one more fight on this 2nd checkpoint before they get onto the 3rd one, so it will cost Boise State some time. You can see the amount of ultimates up for the Beacons could spell demise for Boise State. Both grabs are up, both sound barriers are up, but it's a Shatter from Goldfish, who already has the 6-1 in his pocket. But we're going to kick things off with Kel using his grab. Going to answer back with the grab, Shatter, and sound barrier used from both players. Plato's going to use his ult. He's going to hop onto the Rhine, see if Boise State can get a 2nd Shatter. Through all of those ultimates, Boise State's going to survive. There's a 2-man Shatter follow-up from Plato. That's going to result in a couple of kills, and Boise State right now survives the ultimate onslaught and lives on to push the payload. 5 minutes on the clock to get all the way to checkpoint 3.
And there was another high noon that did nothing, unfortunately. I think that might be Okage's way of saying he's going to swap, but he also was getting 2v1. I can totally understand a panic ultimate coming out. And they are not swapping off the McCree, so they're really hoping that Okage is able to shut down Rezo, but I don't think he will be able to, and Plato is just dominating on the Echo play and constantly having ult up midway through most of the fight.
Stopper going to be used by Asu. Alexio is going to get the first elimination onto Plato, the first real resistance we've seen all offensive push from the side of Bushnell. Broncos have a pair of tank ultimates online versus the Death Blossom and the Nano on the side of Bushnell, so Boise State still has to be careful, but they're easily going to get right back in the fight. There's the grab. It's going to come out. Anti's going to land onto Guac. He's got to be careful as long as the shield holds. There's not much he can do. Plato's going to pick up 2. It's okay. It's got 1 onto Guac, saving his team from his Shatter. And Plato right now doing work. Death Blossom does come out. It's going to be able to get 2. A large bagel answers right back. Shockmaster gets 1 as well. The team's trading 3 for 3. Should be slight advantage to Bushnell with the close respawns, and it looks like Boise State trying to do what they can, but they've got to fall back.
Yeah, and Bushnell actually does have their Graviton Surge ready to go, but a large bagel is just 25% away from his ultimate, so he will be ready, hopefully, to counter that as soon as the engage fully takes place here. We also have Guac sitting on a Shatter, and Rezo with his Meteor Strike. Plays almost got another copy, whereas Okage is sitting on another one of his Deadeyes. We'll have to see how that goes during this fight.
Grab's going to come out and completely whip from Shockmaster. Okay, it's Deadeye once again going to find nothing but air. Rizzo on meanwhile, he's going to get one, then pick up another one with the Meteor Strike. Plato picks up one as well, but Alexio finally able to answer back, but it does not matter. Boise State is going to pick up 4 members. Resurrection comes out and the Broncos is going to start pushing, and now the body block comes out.
Oh, no sneaky Shatter. I'm sad now.
Guac still holding on to his. We'll see if he wants to throw it down. Trying to find for the shield to go down. Nice absorption there by Goldfish. We're going to see the sound barrier used by both the large bagel and Haka, but right now is going to be no elimination. The shatter from Goldfish, not going to find anyone but Plato. Nice pin by Guac onto the enemy Reinhardt, but no one's going to go down as the teams trade 1 for 1. Finally, Okage gets on the board with a pair of kills. Boise State answers back with one of their own onto Alexio, but we've seen this before. If you don't get a clean team wipe, it's going to allow the other team to respawn, and Boise State's got to reset.
Yeah, Boise State has to reset, but they have 2 minutes and 40 seconds to push this payload. Just a matter of 2 meters in order to claim this victory here against Bushnell. And this next fight, Bushnell has no ults coming online, whereas Boise State has almost 3 complete ultimates ready to go, and that might spell Bushnell's doom.
Valkyrie's going to kick things off. Grab going to be used as well. Meteor Strike in combination with it. And Boise State's going to pick up 1, make that 2 from Plato. Another Deadeye, another whip from Okage. And Boise State sound the bells. There's the team kill. And there is the 3-0 victory for Boise State as it hits the parking spot. And the Broncos with a nice win there to wrap up everything on this evening.
That was beautiful. That was great. Great job with both teams. Bushnell, I totally understand that might have been a little disheartening, but do not forget this is just the beginning of the season and you have plenty of time to grow.
Yeah, great job by Bushnell, nearly forcing what would have had to been an overtime, but Boise State with a great hold, and the Broncos will wrap out the night without dropping a single map. 3-0 in the NECC, where they play all 3 maps for both the blue and the orange squad, and the NACE, a nice 3-0 victory as well for Boise State. So you've got to love what you saw from Boise State if you're a Bronco fan tonight. You've got to love to see the DPS hero rotation that came out. DPS right now feeling like the only one that you could have a little bit of creativity with the tanks sort of stuck on what they are. So a huge job for Boise State. But if you're curious about catching either any of the earlier action, anything else from this semester, or even previous semesters, just go ahead and drop a Twitch Prime in the chat. It's super easy. You link your Twitch and your Amazon Prime. Help support Boise State esports, as well as giving you access to a ton of previous things. It's super awesome. It's highly recommended. We actually just hit our 5,000th follower on the channel the other day, so would love to get some subscription support as well, because it helps fund scholarships, and it's an all-around fun thing.
Yeah, indeed, it is super fun, and that 5,000 sub mark is such a huge benchmark for Boise State University and this Twitch channel, and it was so awesome to actually be here during the stream for that. But speaking of streams, we do still have to pick a player of the game for this last stream, so who do you think it might have been?
It's got to be Guac. I mean, everyone played great, but we didn't see anything that matched the monkey domination on controls, so it's got to be Guac. Before we get to our player of the game, though, here is the upcoming Boise State broadcast schedule, and you can see just how jam-packed things are. Ton of NACE action, League of Legends Invitational in there as well. A couple of gridiron rivalries, which would be interesting. The Utah State one going to be the first team the Boise State Broncos football team will play coming up on October 24th, with the Mountain West getting back in the swing of things. But gridiron rivals still going to be a little bit earlier, but you could just see it, nerdy. Ton of action from every single team Boise State has, so it's going to be a ton of fun. You're all, like I said, hey, subscribe, drop a follow so you know when we're going live, because you want to stick with these teams in the NACE regular season, see how they're doing, because they have been off to a hot start, if I might say so.
Oh, I 100% agree. And now we are actually going to see our NACE Skillshot Overwatch player of the game. I'm really hoping our hunch was right, that it's Guac, but we shall see. And it is Guac. Nice job, Michael. That was well-deserved to you. Fantastic play on Winston. As always, you were a straight beast, and you were a fantastic leader of your squad.
I mean, we just did this. This is the only play you need to show. Just show it on repeat. I mean,
for real.
This was phenomenal. I mean, I just still cannot believe that we saw. I mean, yes, we're used to Winston getting a ton of kills, But just the fact he got 5 in one fight, it easily won the map for Boise State. He was also really fantastic on Junkertown on the Wrecking Ball as well. So yeah, like you said, huge congratulations to Guac being the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. I mean, still though, I mean, that Winston play, I mean, probably not the last time you're going to see it. It's probably, I don't want to be a spoiler, but probably #1 in the top 5 plays from this map because, I mean, it's just something you don't see. 3 environmental kills. That's like a Lucio thing. That's a large bagel thing. That's not a Winston thing.
Yeah, it was honestly, that was just so phenomenal to watch. I'm very happy we got the replay of that. And just in general, setting that up, knowing you have that opportunity to bonk someone off the side is not easy to do. And he funneled them off to the side of the map. So it was like he planned it in his head and he's like, oh, you're going off the edge and there is no stopping it.
Yeah, he even got 2 hits in on all of them, so it wasn't just like he got 1 lucky swipe. He planned that out, as you mentioned. Always trying to get in the other team's head. He did a great job. So congratulations to you, Guac, on the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success. Guac is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, and he could not have been more deserving. And then you have the under the radar, hey, we got grabbed. Let me just hold down my right click and make sure the Ryan Shield stops us from losing anyone else.
Oh yes, of course. The unsung hero moments are very huge.
Well, that is all we have for now, at least in terms of Fish and Nerdy Bird. We are going to have our post-game interview with Doc Haskell coming up. But before we get to that, we will do our top 5 plays of the night. But don't go anywhere. Doc Haskell going to give his thoughts on a perfect 9-0 night for the Boise State Overwatch team after these top 5 plays. Skill Shot Collegiate regular season. Broncos up 2-0 right now here, looking to try and get their 3rd win and wrap things. It might be too late. Finami and Rizzo both going to go down. Plato going to pick up another one onto Haka. Shockmaster going to be forced out of the mech. Once again, it's Plato. There is Cal. He'll get the final elimination, but Boise State might just wrap this up in under a minute. Barely a few members of Bushnell left to contest. Alexio is going to go down, and that payload is going to reach the park. We're going to come out. There you see the Riptire come out as well. The Nano landed onto Goldfish, but it really did not matter. Plato doing a great job flipping that fight despite the grab against the Broncos. Goldfish dropping extremely low. He will go down to the trap, and a great swap by Plato onto the Junkrat, and that is what turned that fight for Boise State when they needed it most.
Yeah, that was...
And the Nano on the side of Bushnell, so Boise State still has to be careful, but they're easily going to get right back in the fight. There's the grab. It's going to come out. Anti's going to land on the Guac. He's got to be careful as long as the shield holds. There's not much he can do. Plato's going to pick up 2. It's okay. It's got 1 on the Guac, saving his team from a shatter. And Plato right now doing work. Death Blossom does come out. It's going to be able to get 2. A large bagel answers right back. Shockmaster gets... Love for Bushnell. Coalesce is going to kick things off here from Asu. A huge 6-man shatter comes out from Goldfish, and see ya, Boise State. 3 members go down. Okay, it's going to throw in the Deadeye. Still can't find anything, and Boise State, regardless, is going to have to give up that point. What a shatter by Goldfish. Get the right camera angle, so here we go. Here is Guac, the early potential nominee for Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. There it is. Haka just popped the ultimate, and there it is. He just knocks them all off. Ooh, it's that easy. My goodness. I think it's another elimination. 5 eliminations for the Winston in one fight. A fantastic night for Boise State Overwatch, not dropping a single map. And the Broncos with a 9-0 overall night. We're going to wrap things up with our post-game interview with Doc Haskell, reigning NACE Director of the Year. And Doc, let's start with, I don't want to make you pick favorites, but there was a ton of great plays from a lot of different players tonight. Who stood out to you the most?
Kel's my favorite.
Kel's your, okay, well.
I just got to give you, Kel's my favorite.
Well, who stood out the most to you from all 12 players tonight who made some incredible plays all around?
You know what? We got just such a brief glimpse of Rezo, but it was really good. This is the level that we know he can play at. He's GM. But honestly, Goblin was good on just about everything tonight. You know, being an off tank, you don't get a ton of praise, but Kel as well did a great job. How's that for a non-answer?
There you go. You know what? Make sure you get praise all around. Well, I know Boise State's got the 2 squads, the blue and the orange. They've already played each other. Why don't you give us a little sneak peek behind the curtain? What's coming up next week? We had a former World Cup player against them tonight in Alexio. Any big names on the lookout from the other teams in the coming weeks for Boise State?
Yeah, since we're both of our teams are in the same group, we're going to see these schools again. We're going to play them with different folks. So we're going to play Bushnell again with the orange squad, and that's going to be a tough matchup. We've seen what they can do. That's nice to have a good look at them. But honestly, Colorado College is going to be tough. Jamestown is going to continue to be tough. Those are the folks in our group that we've got to make sure that we're stronger than coming into the playoffs.
And then a final question. Let's expand on that a little bit. We talked about the blue and the orange squad. How do you handle VOD reviews? Or, hey, as you mentioned, Blue Squad just played Bushnell. How do you handle that for Orange? Because they are different players. Is it, hey, this is what Blue did really well, or do you tailor it to Orange's strengths? It is kind of weird to have 2 teams in the same tournament. Don't see that in normal sports.
Yeah, you know what? But even if we didn't, we do a ton of scouting on our opponents. We know what compositions that they are running and scrimming in most of these. And we have a good sense of going in. So we know what the win condition is, and we know the comp that we need to. And if we see something different, we're already prepared to quickly change and win the fight.
Well, Doc, I know you've got to be happy. Not a single map drop tonight for Boise State, a 9-0 night. You love to see that one. Doc, thanks so much for joining us. Huge shout-out to everyone in the chat, Nerdy Bird Production, everyone who was here to watch Boise State. We had the schedule, so you want to make sure you keep coming back. Drop a Twitch Prime sub, drop a follow. Make sure you stay tuned because it's going to be an exciting October for Boise State. But that's all we've got tonight, so I want to say thank you very much and have a good Thursday evening.